school, killing some kids. I get it. That has no effect on what we're doing in our own neighborhoods over a holiday weekend. And I don't know why we try to compare the two to make it seem as though it's not that bad when what we do to us in our neighborhoods ain't nobody else doing it. That's just what it is with the numbers that we have. You don't see a wild and out Asian weekend where, 16 Koreans get shot and 14 are dead. That shit don't happen. So why would we even make that a point of contention to talk about, to say, well, they do it too? And if you look at the stats and see what they say, how about we just look at how we're living and say, hey, here's what we're doing. Let's fix that. Because all of the other races that come over here, even though they didn't come over here the way we did, they have that advantage of being together. Like when you all were talking earlier, they have that camaraderie. They have that it's us against them. We got to take care of us first. We're the ones that don't have that. Like you talked about with Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, they got that it can only be one mentality. So I don't understand why we keep doing that. I just wish we would stop it. And I'll land there.
Let me ask you a question in response to that. I'm with you, but what do you do if you keep getting brought things like, would you consider me a person who blames slavery and blames white people for black problems?
Nope.
So what should I do then when a white person comes and tell me you need to be talking about what go on in Chicago and you need to be telling your people about their fathers ain't at home? What should I say in response?
I think we should do just like they do. Mind your own fucking business. Don't worry. I gives a good goddamn what a white folk or what white people got to tell me about the wild hunters of Chicago. Because you motherfuckers don't live there and you motherfuckers ain't from there. So what you have to say about it, it's of little of no consequence to me. Can you say it? You can get online and say whatever the fuck you want. It's America. But I'm not concerned about that. So if a white person says that to me, I would say, hey, man, you don't know shit about what's going on in Inglewood. You don't know shit about what's going on in the hundreds. All you know about is what you see on fucking TV.
And see, that's what I think. Well, that's the part of the discussion we were having. We were saying, well, I'm going to throw up what you need to be worrying about. And that's when he brought up, hey, y'all out here, like my man Mr. Fantastic said, y'all out here just drowning the fish in the house when you get mad at your wife for not making dinner. While you trying to tell me what's going on in the wild hunters, you're not affected by that. You just seem to have fun talking about that. Cool. Now let's have some fun talking about what you are being really affected by. So that's the only reason why we're bringing it up now, is to point out not that there's equal or that it should, that we're trying to say, hey, we don't care about what black people are doing because y'all are doing worse. We're saying we are talking about, like Corey was talking about it earlier as well. We over here doing exactly what you say people don't do. And you still got something to say.
I can dig that.
You don't want us to fix it, because if you did, you wouldn't keep talking. If you did, you wouldn't keep trying to interrupt people who are trying to fix it. And that's what it looks like from my vantage point. Them white dudes want to have something to be able to say. Some people want you to always be the drug addict. Some people want you to always be the broke friend. I think there are
it gives them something to talk about.
Yes, I think there's a lot of white people who they go to bed feeling great because they saw what happened in Chicago. Yeah. That they go to bed feeling great when they watch a video of mine and I'm talking about a black woman doing this or a black father doing this. They go and say, see, we're better than them. And they'll keep addressing you as we're better than you because somehow it saves them. And I always point out this, and I'll go to the next person. But I always just ask, there are so many white dudes who broke as hell that be online calling people niggers.
Yes.
And that's the best feeling they get in their day, because when they can get that black person to get enraged, get upset, they say to themselves, I got power. They swear up and down they don't want the word nigger to have power over us. Well, if you didn't, you wouldn't keep saying it.
Right.
They say literally, like, how do y'all let that one word bother you? That makes no sense, that you keep doing it on purpose to someone looking to get that said response from them and then saying it, because then I got to ask, well, what is your purpose of doing it?
And
maybe there's a purpose.
Yeah, furthermore, Tommy, again, man, we got to stop that. I don't know why we act like, or they try to act like, oh, well, it's just words. It's just words. So I say this. I'm like, hey, man, well, bitch is a word, right? So if you're out, with your family and my big ass walk by your wife or your grandma or your daughter, right? Move, bitch. It's just words, right? No, you're gonna be a man and you're gonna do something about it. You're gonna confront me. You might motherfucking pull the fire, or you might just steal off on me. And you know what? You be justified, because words, even though it's just words have intent, and words can be
matter.
Yeah, words have intent, and words can be offensive. So when you're purposely using an offensive word, a person has a right to fucking address it. The problem is, like I said, why do y'all keep fighting to say this one word? Nobody's fucking saying the F word. We done lost that.
But I think what you're saying, though, Fantastic, though, I think they do it because it's that thing that gets you riled up. It's just like how if you call a white girl a cunt. You can call a white girl a bitch, you fucking slut, you can do that, but you call her a dirty fucking cunt.
Watch it, Brian.
And she's gonna lose her shit.
It. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
easy, Brian. Easy.
Well, wait a minute. Which is why you don't hear them calling them that on TVs and movies and walk with that. Like, if you think about it,
yes.
That's why he said the F word, they keep it out. You sure can't say nothing about no Jews. These scary ass white boys know not to go around calling them words. And when they do, they make sure they do it behind a frog face.
Yeah.
Not their face.
Right, exactly. And I'm saying they do that because they know it's that thing that will stir you the fuck up and get you going. Because that's what they want to see, the fucking dumpster fire or the train wreck. They want to see you crash out. But like you said, when you in person,
well, what they always say is chimp out.
Y'all got called a nigga out on the street.
It's true.
Bro, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. In relationship rehab, man, that's the internet age, right? Again, like I said, we seen
keyboard warriors.
It's all rage bait. It's all that.
Yes.
Like I said, we just saw the boy get slapped today by a white man. Thank God, he ain't have none of that smoke. He got slapped and he ran away.
But I think it's one part y'all missing, right? They got mad at Tommy because a lot of black people be online be right with him talking about it's the Jews. Mm-hmm. Once Tommy say, hold on now. Hold on. If the Jews got y'all, why the fuck would I be on y'all side?
I was down with all that stuff. I was like, this is facts. But then when I said, wait a minute, he got y'all that scared?
Yeah, it's a lot of black people, they be right with him, Tommy. Like, yeah, the Jews did this to us. The Jews.
I look at it like this, just like Tommy said earlier when he was on Twitter talking about, the person that gave him one of the biggest breaks in his career was a Jew. From my perspective, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I'm not gonna take up arms with another group that got just as much animus against me than any other group. I'm not gonna do it. And so I don't feed into the white people and the Jew people. I gives a fuck about that fight because I got way more shit happening on the back end of my fucking people. I can't concern myself with that. So I'm not joining in with that shit.
You're right. Here's one of the things. It's the mental manipulation that they use, because they'll call you all these different type of names. Hey, nigger. Hey, listen. They'll call you all these different type of names, but it's the Jews, right? but remember, they think that our IQ is so slow that we're not going to catch on to them trying to manipulate us and say it's just a word. Just like Mr. Fantastic said, I can't call your wife a bitch. I can't call your girl a bitch. You're gonna have to do something about that. Especially if I call her a cunt, you're gonna feel some type of way about it, especially with the white woman.
Easy. Brian already told you about how us white women feel about that, Corey.
We didn't call you that directly, white lady.
Hey, you gotta say see you next Tuesday. See
see you next Tuesday. All right. But
what I want to do is
thing,
Well, hold on. I want to see. I want to hear
Yeah.
from Book of R.L.M. Oh, wait, oh no, the woman got her hands up to the tropical struck, and then Book of R.L.M. because I haven't heard from either of those. Go ahead, tropical struck.
Hi, do I still have an echo?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're good.
Okay, awesome. I guess what I'm asking, so I came in a little late here, and I was recommended this panel by a friend, but is this essentially just like debating the ethics of the use of slurs, or?
Well, no. Earlier, I had talked about, and it was a discussion, and it was asking who is the enemy of Black people more, Jews or white people? If I asked you that question straight up, what would you say? Who's more of the enemy to Black people, Jews or whites?
So here's the part where I'm probably gonna make this argument really confusing. Happy Hanukkah. I'm also half white.
Happy
So-
Hanukkah.
You still got an answer.
Yeah.
I would say
Answer for
neither
both sides.
are
It's even better.
Right.
like it's entirely subjective in that case, and also like if we're going to make an enemy of an entire like group, be it ethnic or racial, because racial is more like a subjective, like nebulous term. We don't really have any sort of like association of like race with any sort of scientific measure, because you can have people from like, you know, North Africa that are closer to people from Cyprus than they are
You
to
said you're
people in
half
like
what, so we
sub-Saharan
can get an
Africa.
understanding. You said you're half what, so we can get an understanding. I know you said you're half. Half what?
Half French Canadian.
So you're half French and half Canadian?
No. So there's a province in Canada called Quebec where they speak French.
So you're like half Black and then half like white. Like Canada's like.
I was about to say I'm not getting the answer. I'm like half what? What
Half,
are the things you're half of?
really oversimplifying, half Jamaican, half French Canadian, Jewish on both sides.
All right. So you said you talked about ethnicities. So can there be white Jamaicans?
White Jamaicans as an ethnicity, like as a nationality, yes. As an ethnicity, depending on what you claim, yeah.
Okay, so when you say half of these things, what's it saying? Oh. Well, when you say you're half of these things, we'd have to find out what you're half of. So if you're half ethnicities, and you said race doesn't exist, so
Race is a nebulous concept. I'm not saying that the social construct does not exist. I'm saying that it is a nebulous term because it differs from person to person. It's subjective.
all right. So just for the fun of it, for this show,
Mhm.
would you just say half Black and half white? Is that what would you call if the regular person, they would call you half Black and half white, right? Or no?
I don't think any of my friends have referred to me as that, but I feel like if it helps, sure.
All right, would you say biracial? Would you
Yeah,
ever say
that works. Like mixed race.
okay? That's what I'm saying. So you'd say biracial. So the racial construct does exist to somebody. That because has any white person ever asked you what are you mixed with?
Yes.
Okay, so it does exist. They have a phenotype and you don't fit it. You might be close, but you don't fit it. So therefore they ask, what are you mixed with? Okay. And I'm sure your Jamaican side of the family automatically knows you're mixed with something, which is probably white. Don't they know that? Your Jamaican side of the family?
Yes. Although they are mixed themselves, ironically.
Yeah, many of them mix like the Currys. Currys are a bunch of mixed people.
Yes, but ironically, Turkish Jewish. My grandmother's my skin tone with green eyes.
So as the Jews, have you heard the uptick online of white nationalists blaming Jews for pretty much everything?
Yes, I've been quite privy to such things.
What do you think about that type of talk? Like, where do you think they're getting that from?
The anti-Semitism.
Groypers.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of the Groyper movement. Nick Fuentes is a really funny dude to be touting Catholicism despite going on dates with cat boys. But you know, oh, you guys haven't seen that?
No.
That's it's a super adorable date. They go to get hamburgers and the video starts out with him talking about how he he was trying to figure out how he could fit the fact that dinosaurs exist and also like take into account the Bible. So he was trying to sort of congeal those two things, and like in the car as he's explaining it to this guy who's wearing cat ears in his car, who's vlogging the entire thing.
Well, I will say that I will ask you this. What do you think about the movement? Like, why do you think it became like a thing that a lot of white people are now gravitating to and saying, yeah, the Jews are a problem?
It might be a confluence of a mixture of factors, in my opinion, and maybe this is going to get a little too nuanced, I guess. But I would say that there's a rise in anti-Semitic talks as it relates to, because once again, the Christian, sorry, not the white nationalists have a huge overlap with Christian nationalists as well, right? And the main pundits in this space, Nick Fuentes especially, is heavily pushing Catholicism, despite definitely going on dates with men. But also when you have that, obviously there's a mixture there, and because of that overlap, you're going to have a lot of people questioning why we are not like why we're not sort of denigrating this other group that we don't perceive as ourselves.
Do you think Jews have any culpability in the backlash that they're starting to receive worldwide?
Culpability in the backlash that we're starting to receive?
Yes. Do you think they have any culpability, meaning that they've done anything to deserve it, that they've done anything to make it happen or to accentuate it or to foster it?
Are you referring to like Zionism versus being Jewish?
Yeah, like like how people felt like the Jews on the campuses became a target to regular students on the campus. The regular students felt like these Jews are part of bigger thing because Jews are getting over in finance. Jews are in places hiding and pulling strings and causing problems. Do you see any of that, i.e., with Bibi Netanyahu going over the West
Beauty. Yeah. Oh my God, it's the first time I've heard that one. um Netanyahu, not a huge fan of. Don't like him very much. I'll put that on main. Um, as it relates to culpability for the entirety of the Jewish people, that's a very broad statement. On top of that, so being like, oh, is there an echo?
It's just a small one, but we were talking through it.
Okay. So, in Judaism, like historically, you are like there's historically been mostly Jewish bankers since the beginning of time because usury was a sin, which is to lend money with interest up until like we'll call it more modern day, in which it was more so seen as not a sin as it relates to the later Abrahamic religions, right? So you obviously have a people that you keep displacing, but also you want to use them for the sake of, in their religion, usury is not a sin. So you have them as sort of a scapegoat, as ironic as that might seem as it relates to the Torah being, the Old Testament. So it's consistent scapegoating in diasporas that come from that sort of thing. And I don't even think there is a to be fair moment, because it is essentially, it boils down to like you have a job in banking because historically people have abused you because you can be a banker without sinning in their religion, and then they'll kick you out and they'll burn down your synagogue too after they're done with you or enslave you or what have you.
So when I didn't ask the question, and that's why I'll get back to the question, and who's the bigger enemy of blacks? Whites have a history figured of slavery and abuse to blacks, misuse to blacks, the same kind of usury that they claim that everybody else has done. Whites have a history of that to blacks. Well, lately, whites have been saying, we didn't do that. That was actually Jews who did it. That it was Jews who owned more slaves than whites.
The Jews facilitated transatlantic slave trade?
Yep. They
And this is
financed.
an unironic statement?
No, they're saying it's true that they financed the slave trade and that the majority of slave owners in the United States were Jews. They also said that the Civil War was fought against the Jews. And when the whites won, that's when blacks got freed. They are saying this with a straight face. They're saying that the history was hidden. And that
So
is their
were the
job.
founding fathers also Jewish? Like, I don't understand.
They're saying that it was the Jews and white people are now having to unearth this truth because the Jews subverted them by, like how you sometimes white. I believe if I brought you home, my mom would say, "Where'd you find this white girl at?" She would. And I'd tell her heaven.
Thank you.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm saying they said that because of stuff like that, you were able to subvert white people and change your last names, and therefore making white people look like villains. What do you think about that?
I have yet to interact with this claim, I'll be honest, and maybe I'm not like I've interacted with the Groyper space quite unfortunately quite a bit. I'm more in the philosophy angle of things, but as it relates to this, like this hits more of conspiracy than anything else, because once again I've yet to see any sort of concrete evidence.
If I may jump in, Tommy, I think it goes back to the whole Kasarian theory, right? Like that they came and kind of masked themselves as Jews, right? And they've been this like dark elite that has been doing everything from the beginning. They weren't originally Jews, so that's where they get the division of Ashkenazi and Sephardic. It's the Eastern European, which are the fake Khazarian Jews, which are the ones that are manipulating everything.
So they're trying to say that Ashkenazi Jews are the ones that are fake and manipulating
So
everything.
when they say Jews, unfortunately, what happens is that it's broad, and they're not identifying the difference. It's not your average like person that's your neighbor that is lovely and you've had Shabbat dinner with, right?
Yeah.
They're speaking about this particular elite dark forces group that from the very beginning came out of the Caucasus Mountains, I guess, right? And they have been impersonating actual Jews since the beginning.
Now, that is something I want to ask you, the book of R.L.M. That
Mhm.
is something that drew my ire.
Mm-hmm. Me
Kyrie
too.
Irving retweeted Hebrews to Negroes. It was a documentary that he apparently watched, thought it was okay, retweeted it. This man had his entire career threatened by retweeting something he saw.
Mm-hmm.
Did not give his opinion about it or anything. Now, I ask this question to you. Why is it that if me as a black man, I can question that whites stole inventions from black? I can question that whites aren't even human. I can call them the devil. I can say that they are
Inbred.
parasites. I can say that they're aliens. I will never get my account blocked. My post will not be taken down for hate speech. But saying I think that blacks were the original Jews gets you banned.
And therein
How's
lies the problem. And therein lies the problem. That's why this group of people that do have a good amount of hate for Jews, and it's unfortunate, but there's just so much information online. Europa is one of the ones that that I watched and can barely find it now. That goes against the whole narrative that we've been taught or told for so many years, right? And so when you have people like Nicholas Fuentes fighting against what actually happened during the Holocaust, and then you fast forward to now where people like Tommy getting banned and blocked, and getting blocked from life for saying certain things only about certain people, and you follow the logical conclusion, it's leading a lot of people logically to this point. Because why is it that we can't like can say J or small hats? Like if we say Jews too much, we're probably going to get stricken and banned,
Yep.
right? So
Dwight Howard almost lost his career for saying "Free Palestine."
right. So
Wait. When did he say this?
This was back when he was in the league. I forget the year, but he was talking about it on the podcast.
Oh, I would have to say I don't know if he said it when he was in his peak powers, but I do want to say I would rather talk about better examples when you could talk about again Kyrie Irving, when you could talk about Kanye West, who went from being a billionaire to having a few million just
Right.
because he said something. And that's why I asked the young lady, Tropic, I asked, do you think some of the backlash, and again, I understand she was saying, was it a totality? No. Well, people still look at things as an ideology, though. And I
Of
said, do you
course.
think that some of the things that have been done, and I just brought up Netanyahu and the treatment of the people on the West Bank, but words and phrases and things like this, do you think that some of the hatred that has been bubbling up and now spilled out onto the campuses have come from, like how the R.L.M said, hey, you start questioning what you see. This is stuff you can't hide. I mean, you see it, and then you start questioning, why does it exist? Yeah, Nick Cannon. Why did that happen? He
The
had
thing
no
is that
problem when he go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing a bit of an echo, but I think that once again, as you were saying, holding a thing to a monolith, like the entirety of the Jewish people as a monolith, that's including myself and everyone else on those campuses, etc. Are we to be blamed for the actions of Benjamin Netanyahu? Like it's a little absurd to kind of loop everyone into that same sort of ideological category, especially as it relates to like I don't think that any sort of ire to the point of whatever gropers would like to do, because I'm sure there's varying degrees of what violence they'd like to commit. I don't think there's any sort of justification for that sort of thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, and I'm deeply humanitarian, so I don't think any sort of violence commit on any sort of group is justified.
Well, see, we're not talking about violence right now. We're talking about like the words, like the things that people are saying. We're going to go there first before we get to the violence, because I don't think the students were beat up. They were just kind of mistreated.
Are you referring to
Words.
the Ivy League campuses?
Yeah, they were beat up.
I heard that they were not beat up, but they were ousted from multiple situations,
Yeah, like
which in itself is
they were made to
discrimination.
feel very uncomfortable, is what I heard from a lot of them. They were made to feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like Jackie Robinson was made to feel uncomfortable in major leagues. Let's point out almost the first black quarterback was made to feel uncomfortable, but he wasn't beaten up. He was just made to feel uncomfortable. The first black guy with a white girlfriend was made to feel uncomfortable.
I would say that I think, because once again, and if I'm not going to bring it into the who is the bigger enemy of like the black race, because I think that once again puts too many like generalizations onto one statement. But historically,
we got to do a show. We got to do a show. That's what it's about.
I know. I'm just adding
gotta
in.
do it.
I have to add nuance. But I would say that historically, Black people and Jews have also been consistently on the same side of a lot of hatred by a specific group that would have been a majority, and there's a reason why they're both called minorities. So I think there's something to be said there.
Good job.
Tommy, can I tackle this?
Yeah, go ahead. Even though I feel the young lady is trying to be politically correct, and I appreciate it.
The future in politics, young lady.
Yeah.
Me? I don't know about that one, but thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate her trying to, but that part is the part that sticks in my craw, and I'll let you answer it, brother. But that's the part that sticks in my craw when I say, "Well, hold on a minute. You seem to have a hatred for them, a hatred to the point where you've kicked them out of 100 some odd other countries. The countries they haven't been kicked out of, though, are the ones in Africa where blacks run them. We ain't kicking them out. So seems like the same people who kicking them out kick us out. So whenever white people are bragging about kicking the Jews out, you're 100% correct. You know who else you kicked out? Us. Or when you didn't kick us out, you just had us work. You brag about it because you say the Jews were the ones who enslaved us, but Jews aren't running around saying we need to have you niggers hung back on trees. Y'all are. That's what the guy said. And I'm thinking, why would you say this to me? Y'all, I'm not. See, I can't even trust these guys. Look at what they're saying. I have not tried to flirt with it. Young lady, have I tried to flirt with you?
Not to my knowledge. I'm horribly dense, but
Well, stop it.
Oh.
I hate these people. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is
Yes, I wanted to-
my mic that has the echo? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yours is, so you have to kind of mute it when
Okay.
you're not talking.
Let me see if that helps a little bit.
Yeah, it will. But go ahead, brother.
All right. So just a few things that just comes up. I appreciate the young lady and her opinions, but she's Canadian, and the real racist Western thing is in the United States, UK, and so forth, right? So there's always a comedy thing with how Canadians, I say this respectfully, how they are perceived.
I think she's about to tell you she's not Canadian.
So
go ahead.
You are absolutely right. Actually, you correctly diagnosed a huge thing that I think is often overlooked in the Canadian, Black Canadians and African Americans. I've noticed a stark difference because I've lived in both Florida and Quebec and now Ontario. Half and half for the first part of my life until I was 11, and then finished school and university in the US, and then moved back to Canada. So I do see, especially as it relates to more metropolitan areas, huge difference as it relates to we'll call it race relations. But the closest analog I can see for Canada to being African American is probably how they treat natives here.
Well, look, our racial cuisine is very spicy in the States, right? So what I'm going to tell you is what I know from history and how whiteness actually works as an archetype. Nick Fuentes is going to get his calling card real soon from the purists. Someone called Nick Fuentes, who is Mexican and is of Italian descent, does not really rate with what the real racist blue blood purists quantify as a white person. So when every time I see,
he's partially Jewish.
So when I see him speak, he really is like a chihuahua wanting to get put on. He's not a real person. He's allowed to speak the way that he does. He serves a purpose, but at one point, Italians were strung up in this country. They weren't even considered white. Many of the people that come out as white. Look, Stephen Miller is Jewish, and he's Trump's right-hand man. His Jewish family disowns him to a certain degree. The issue is whether it's Nick Fuentes or Stephen Miller, they are afforded whiteness. Some Jewish folk are afforded whiteness. Jewishness can be a race, can be an ethnicity, can be a culture. It can be a multiplicity of things. Sometimes it will not tell you they are quote unquote white, right? When Whoopi Goldberg, right, with her surname for comedic purposes, when she misspoke on The View about what happened in the Holocaust, and she said, well, this was a conflict between two white people, she was rightfully correct to say, oh, no, we were the Jewish race. They got that work. They weren't white. So this whole white thing and blackness, and anti-Semitism is a real thing. Kristallnacht, the pogroms were a real thing. Jewish people, we do see they're catching it, right? The issue is, though,
is that when it comes to black people, our well runs pretty deep as far as anti-blackness. And in this country, one of the main reasons for why I do believe in reparations, at one time I didn't, but there is a very concrete purpose for it that really can't be deconstructed. The purpose is, after slavery, yeah, you were quote unquote free, but you never became white. And I'm not talking about white physically. You never became white as a class. You became second or third class. There's a deficit because of that. There's something owed just for that. You never became a white person. These other European ethnics, Italians, Jewish people, Russians, all these people at some
V-Dub,
point.
you need to mute. We can't hear you, bro. V-Dub, you need to mute.
All these white ethnics, we saw Gangs of New York. Gangs of New York might have been just what the West Coast so-and-sos are doing. I'm going to be, edit myself. They were the original gangsters, right? Those people were never considered white, but at some point, a deal was cut and they became white. Our black behinds never became white. Nick Fuentes is allowed to speak like he's a real white person. And everybody just kind of...
that might just be the ignorance of his audience, though. Despite his name being an obvious signifier.
No. Ma'am, I'm saying this respectfully. Mm-hmm. They have records, they have lineage, and I respect your admixture, right? But I look at you, and I'd say this no disrespect. I look at you as a black person because this is the culture that we are in, right? What? I'm not doing what Tommy's playing. He's doing comedy, all right? I went to HBCU. Hold on. I went to an HBCU. No, I seen the range. Sir. I have to argue with people online telling me that Lena Horne is a white woman for some reason.
Sir.
Okay.
Aaron Burr, sir. You just said what I'm doing is comedy. Aaron Burr, sir. You said
I'm
this.
saying to be funny.
Okay.
In my opinion.
No. Because I don't think it was fair. I honestly don't think it's fair for a black person with two black parents to be trying to compare their child to this child. And then you have words like, well, that's the better brand of black. Because you've put yourself in that position. Guess who doesn't do that? Guess who doesn't do that?
White folks.
Everyone else. They're smart enough not to have this thing to where the range of what you are is so broad that an individual who looks white is still black.
Well, Tommy, look, I'm not going to go back and forth, but
I know back and forth. That is a common sense thing. Well, you cannot name another thing in life that is well valued, that everybody can just get in it.
I think there are internal struggles in all ethnicities, and whiteness has a range also, whether it's Armenian to Italian to Greeks. All these people fall into an umbrella. It's always been a social construct. What I'm saying here, as far as how you were dealt in the Americas, they didn't give a damn about. You could look as white as Tom Cruise, but if they knew they could point to
you that girl can get with a white dude and that white people's parents.
Well, I'm talking about. I'm not disputing it with you. What I'm telling you is that as far as the history, how it worked out, we saw these people would have been kicked out of certain living environments once a darker skinned relative visited, because then the jig was up. That's the history, right? Now, in the modern sense, they've let the gas pedal off of that a little bit. Biracial is a relatively recent term. Preceding that, we didn't have that. We had segregation in this country. It was very clear. White people would get arrested for miscegenation. People were sneaking around. We know that Strom Thurmond had a black daughter with the maid. He's a segregationist, but he didn't segregate when it came down to handling.
He did not have a black daughter
in this country. See, you're using. Come on, Tommy. Come on, Tommy. Let's stop this.
No,
stop this.
That has ruined the black community, that the white man gets to screw your black wife and throw their biracial child on your race.
Well, look, Well, you know what? They
How
did
do
that.
you not
They
think
did.
that is
They did that.
wrong?
They did that. They did that by law, right? So we can argue about this while they carry a
No,
black
sir,
ass
you a
to
grown
court.
man. By law, they done told you in plenty countries that you got to call this man in a dress a woman. And where she lives at, which is Canada, or lived at, in Canada, you can go to jail for calling a nigga the regular name that his mama gave him. You got to call him his girl name.
I'm only
Are
going.
you trying to tell me that you and I having a conversation now, you would go along with that?
We'll go along with
Wait,
a
we're
person.
bringing this to trans issues?
Calling a man, yeah, we can bring up.
Oh no. Well, I'm not into that at all. So you
So
can,
if
you
you're
can
not
miss me
into
on
it,
that.
then do me a favor as a proud black man. Stop calling half breeds black.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
I think
Stop
you're.
calling black.
I think that's
You know
Apple.
biracial. They have two parents of both. They do not need to be called black.
Tommy, if your name is Sotomayor, my name is some European name. When they run your DNA, we ain't coming back like a purebred Nigerian. So those days are over.
Hold on.
It's been that way.
Hold on. There's a difference between dark chocolate and regular chocolate. There's
Okay.
all
See,
kinds
now
of
we
right.
Now we get into pastries. See,
No,
that's the
well, I
issue,
think
isn't
that's
it?
where we get into the minutia of
Let me get to my major point.
Weird or wrong that we can have a person that looks just like a white person be called black.
Well, the problem is that the white person made sure that I don't care what you look like. I saw your mama. That's the end of it.
I agree.
And that was the culture.
Okay. So they also think that we are less and lower IQ. Should we go along with that too, since they thought it?
Oh, also on that point, sorry, tangent, but dismantling that argument entirely, you can, if you're ever interacting with a group or online, it's you as soon as you bring into account tax income, or sorry, like income brackets, all of the statistics that they have completely go to shit. So
well, of course, like when they bring up IQ, or you try to tell them,
it turns back into a classist argument essentially.
Yeah, it's the same with the poor whites. They have lower IQ too. Poor anybody has lower IQ. It's a
resources thing.
Yeah, it's an unfair argument that they make. And this is all I'm trying to say to you, brother. Just because they told you, why do you pick and choose whenever you're going to follow what they told you? I don't think black people get a right to claim Barack Obama. I think it is an ugly thing that black people keep saying we had the first black president. No, because as soon as it doesn't fit your argument, you'll bring up his white mama.
Right, just like you just said, if we saw your mom and she's black, we call you black. Well, if we saw Obama's mom and she's white, then that's a white man. By your logic.
Well,
which is why
I hate to go to the go-to, but when the policeman doesn't have the time for that. Tiger Woods did that. Tiger Woods did that, and we saw Negro.
Oh, here we go. Here we go with this shit.
Did that. Look, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because I just don't.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta say this to him. So when the policeman pull Tropical Struck over, you know what he gonna do? If she wearing that exact outfit,
get her number.
Go. She ain't gonna get no ticket. She ain't gonna get yelled at.
She gonna get a fucking dinner.
Nice full-breasted white woman who she don't need this ticket.
I beg to disagree. We're not going to agree on this, but I want to go back to my original thought. Was that the issue is black folks have been purposely put in a certain position by white folks. I'm not going to get into the gender thing because we can bump fists on that. That's for real. That's real, right? But this social construct thing, it is what it is, and we've been living under it for hundreds of years. And black folks have not been able to afford white status or first class status. Simple and plain.
That would be more of a systemic issue, I would argue.
Well, that's what it is. Look, ma'am, you're being polite. I'm being direct. In 1955, which I know people think that's such a long time ago, but 1955, a black man could be an accountant in a fedora, suited and booted, and because they were able to see his African features, light or dark, I'm going to go there. Whatever kind of black you are, he sees you're not him. He says, listen, you got to move in the back of the bus. This happened during the atomic age, during I Love Lucy. See, that's where we lose. And when we talk about this, they say, you're a victim. You're going back in time. No, that was the culture. And now we see that that has not necessarily gone away. There's still smoke from that.
Well,
And
hang
we have
on.
to get we never became a first class citizen. Now, if
Hang
you
on,
you know why
hang
not
on,
that?
hang on, man. Hang on. Hey, you had a good run, brother.
Damn, he's right about it.
This is the problem that I have with this. It's like the LGBTQ plus XYZ movement. You get so convoluted with trying to identify so many slivers of fucking sex and gender and this construct and that construct, it thins out the whole entire movement. We as Black people are a smaller group. Why would we try to get so finite in trying to define who is what and of what race and what lineage you are when you can clearly see what it is and what the culture says? Like Tommy said, if that woman gets pulled over, she's going to be looked at as a white woman getting pulled over, period. If anybody was to see her in the street, at the club, in the shopping mall, at the grocery store, you're going to say she's a white girl, period.
It's actually funny because it's only ever Black people that call me white.
But I'm just saying, but you're going to be perceived to be non-Black. Nobody's going to think you a sister. That's what I'm saying.
Right. They're not going to think, they're not worried that you're going to start twerking and beat nobody up. They're actually expecting you to be very well spoken when you open your mouth.
Exactly.
It would be
Actually,
shocking
growing up, that was not
to
the
hear you
case
be like,
at
y'all
all.
is.
No. Just like Meghan Markle. You don't expect that to you don't expect her to be, oh, I'm Black and I'm this. Same thing. It was a big problem with Kamala Harris. Why would we, being the smaller group, try to go down that rabbit hole? Let it be what it is by our cultural standards. And if what she should have to do, she should have to be, yeah, I know you think I'm white, but I'm this. She should have to do that. We should not be giving her the sister crown, if you will, just because she says, "Oh, well, I'm here and I'm there and I'm this, so I'm that." We get too lost in that, and that convolutes our whole entire movement when we're talking about who's Black and who's not. White folks can do that because there's 77 million of them. So they can get into, oh, I'm not really white. I'm half Irish Catholic and I'm half Jewish Canadian. Or I'm
It's kind of funny that you say that because usually white people actually do tend to infight about what is considered white and what isn't.
But in general, they are perceived as white. They have to
no,
tell
actually,
you that
that's where you get into the UK argument. It's like a semantic argument, and it often relates to classism.
What do you mean? I want to hear you. What is the UK argument?
Right.
So, and I had this, like, for I had a God.
This should be
a good
pretty
way
simple.
to describe this person. I had a white nationalist
a lot
call
more
me
difficult
white.
than they should be.
Yes, you about to go into.
You may think. I don't know if somebody told you that's how you sound intelligent by saying it's slow and saying it's convoluted. But seriously, what is the UK argument? That shouldn't be very hard. What is
the
their
UK argument is essentially, if you are a member of polite society, you are considered white. If you're upper middle class, well educated, you should be considered white in this online space.
So if Tommy moves to the UK, he's white.
Yeah.
You are a member of polite society.
Because he's rich,
yes.
so he's white.
Yeah.
Tommy, you're white.
No.
The Europeans don't sit there.
And I had someone defend this about me in front of an entire studio of people, and I found it extremely. I've never.
It makes no sense.
I assume it was meant to be a compliment, but I was very just taken aback.
Believe your own eyes anymore.
We have UK people here. Actually, Sassy's in the UK, and she's what, a nurse or something? So she makes good money. Sassy, are you white there?
Yeah, sassy girls. She said no. I knew she was gonna say that quickly. That isn't true.
That's not true.
Not even close.
It's just like with pronouns. I can't say anything to you until I ask you what your pronouns are first. That makes no sense. And that's why it's such a thing to where people, they lose so much credibility when you have to do that. I can't say ma'am because that's technically offending you when you consider yourself they, them. That's what we're doing when we're talking like this. It's like when you're talking about white people consider themselves to be white. they will later in conversation tell you, oh, well, I'm half Irish, half Italian, or I'm half this and half that. But they identify sight, seeing white.
Excuse me.
And I don't know why we as black people try to not do that. If I see you, you look black, you're black. Now, if you tell me you're from somewhere else and you got something else going on after that, whatever. But you need to be what it is at face value. And that's just how it should be, because you get too far down the rabbit hole like we're doing now about
can I get a little
woman that we clearly would perceive to be as non-black, and we're trying to make her black.
How about this? The Europeans got upset when they were talking about considering making Idris Elba James Bond, because
yeah, that
they
was
turned
funny.
around and said he should not be allowed, and they refused to say because he was black, because they were worried about sounding racist. So remember
Oh
what they
yeah,
said?
they lost
Oh,
their minds over that.
yeah, so they said that it was because he wasn't from the town that James Bond was supposed to be from. And then somebody pointed out to him, asshole, the only person to ever play James Bond twice is who? Playing
Pierce
one.
Brosnan?
Then came
Sean
back.
Connery.
Sean Connery. And where is he from? He's fucking
England, ain't it?
Scottish.
From
Oh,
England,
Scottish.
UK.
So why? So if you had a
he's
problem with this
Scottish.
man not being from where James Bond was from, Sean Connery's Scottish. Timothy Dalton wasn't from, but that was their argument. They didn't want to say black.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you have in Europe is more undercover racism, because
Yep.
they don't. It's the same thing with Meghan Markle. Did the motherfucking royals not point out that she was not?
Hey, the thing is that I'm not
Exactly.
arguing with you on the point. I'm articulating the argument that was given to me that was semantic, and I thought it was funny, genuinely. I was
But
just kind of
even
like, this is the
as light
first
as
time
she
that I've ever
was,
had a dude who is a white nationalist vehemently stand on the fact that I was white because I was a member of polite society.
but that's why it makes no sense. Because even with Meghan Markle, as light as she is, the talk of the royal family was, I wonder if the baby's gonna be dark.
Yeah.
Why would you be concerned
Well-
about that? I mean,
Well-
that's because they look at her as being black.
Oh,
We're the
you're
ones
leaving?
that say, "Oh, well, you know, she's black, but you know, if she's being allowed to pass, why are we trying to make it seem like, oh, she got to be black?"
Hey,
That's
Brian,
what they're gonna look
I
at.
didn't even know that bitch was. I didn't even know that bitch was goddamn black until everybody
Thank you.
made a hoopla about that shit. I
Thank
did
you.
not know. I didn't even know who the fuck she was until everybody was like,
When we
"Ooh,
looked
Meghan
into
Markle,"
it,
and then the black chicks was like, "Look, she got her a prince, and
She a
ooh, we
princess
can do that."
now.
No, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's the Princess of Duchess now, sir.
I think Meghan Markle, Tropical, Jenna Ortega, and Jessica Alba all kind of look alike, and they all look some type of Hispanic mix.
Jessica Alba is one perfect. Them white
She's
boys
very
have
attractive, and
always claimed her as white. If you are fine enough, and here's another one. They
Rashida
claim is white.
Jones.
Oh, here's another one.
Jessica Alba, I
What's
don't think
his
she has
name?
black in her though.
If
She's
you are
Hispanic.
fine enough half breed, white boys will call you white. This
Wait,
day and age,
don't say
they're
half breed,
insane.
man. That
What
hurts.
about? Hold on, please.
I felt that in my chest.
Hold on, please. There's a woman by the name of and she got a black woman's name,
Rashida
Sharita
Jones. Rashida Jones.
That's what I just said.
I know where
Rashida
you're going.
Jones. Yeah, Quincy Jones.
They
daughter.
literally had her on white shows. She's never played a black lady in her life.
Never.
Boston Public. Yep.
Boston Public. Yep. She's never played a black girl.
lady and won't do it.
And fucking Tupac all along.
No, that was her sister that was doing it.
All right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, sister was doing it.
Kadama Jones. She looked the same.
And
goddamn
Tupac
way.
did it like I did it. Tupac made an argument with her and called her a half breed, and then when she got mad, Tupac said, "I didn't mean it. Let me get that pussy," and he fell in love. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to argue with him first, then fall in love with him. That's what he did. So, but if you think about it, they pick and choose who they want when it's convenient. Now, when they get, but the sad part is Jessica Alba can turn black overnight and nothing happens. White people have no problem with The Rock. They adopted The Rock as white. He do white people things. They like him as they did the same thing with Vin Diesel. They adopt him as white. They have no problem. The lighter your skin is, so I don't want no black person to ever tell me they are the same. They are not. I'm not saying that a biracial person doesn't have their problems. Sure, maybe you can't fuck Brad like you want because Brad don't want to bring you home because his parents gonna say, well, she's not vanilla, she's French vanilla. And that means there's something in there. Like she said, all white people ask her, what the fuck's in there? Because they know, hey, it looks like something's different. Whether it's the hair, which is what Meghan Markle had a problem with. Her hair wasn't like white. She kept having to do the whole, straighten it. Because when she didn't, it curled. So every time you saw Meghan Markle on one of the TV shows she was in, how was her hair? The same way they do it with Rashida Jones. Every time she straightens it, just like the young lady on the stage. I don't know if hers frizzes when she put it in water, but it's straight now. And when they do it, they appear more Caucasian. When it's not, they don't. But here's another group who did it. Jews did it. Jews would get the curls out of their hair. They would appear more Caucasian. They would also...
first instance of rhinoplasty was for a Jewish man.
Yeah. Yep. They used to do it to their little girls. I talked about it in the last show. Their little girls on their bat mitzvah. That was one of the things that many of them got done.
It's also odd because I remember when I was in I was in South Korea for a bit. Double eyelid surgery is such a common thing over there. You get it when you turn like of age, like 18. I want to say.
It talked about this last show too.
Tommy talked about that too. Yeah, he had mentioned the same thing.
He must have heard my earlier show, ma'am. You that's pretty good. I talked about that earlier. I said it's not just one group of people. So then I started asking the white people. You got all this smoke towards Jews, but yet you have everybody on planet Earth trying to look as close to you as possible. Yes. So who has the power?
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that front. Except for in a select few countries like Japan, ironically, I studied there. Would not live there. Very, very fun to visit. Working there is awful. Don't do it. But yeah. Korea, like South Korea, is obviously one of the more Western, Far East countries, and because of that, they have a lot of beauty adverts from the West, mostly European and occasionally Slavic, but mostly European, obviously, and it heavily distorts a self-perception because I personally find monolids to be very beautiful. And I was in modeling, well, I occasionally still am, but it's a feature that is so, yeah, they also bleach skin a lot, especially in South Korea and Japan, but that's more to do with classism than it is with the white beauty standard. Because once again, working out in the fields would tan you, therefore you were considered lower class. So that would be more of the skin bleaching element. Colorism predates racism. I would have a semantic disagreement with that because colorism would be a more so post-transatlantic slave trade branch of racism. Like we have exoticism and things of that nature, as opposed to, I would say, classism being more so indicative by one's, like the melanation of one's skin. If you're more tanned, you often tend to be a laborer.
Yeah, no, that's not accurate though. That what you said is not accurate, but it is. Colorism did predate racism because it was an issue and problem as to where Africans were choosing to mix with the Asians and the Arabs over their own people because of the lighter features and the features that they had. So colorism definitely predated racism.
I guess, what are you qualifying as racism in this case?
Well, racism would be the dislike or maltreatment over people because of their race.
So by definition, they're trying to outbreed their race because the fact that they're quote unquote outbreeding would be a cause of racism, which would then lead to a colorist.
No. So no.
Outcome.
It's not a hatred thing or whatever. It's a preference, right? So it's a desirability. It's a mindset that this is more.
But that's still a judgment based on race.
No.
Yeah,
He
but
said it's a difference between a hatred and a preference.
yeah, that's what I'm
Once
saying.
he
The
says
people
that, you
within the race
understand.
are doing it. So racism is I hate you. I'm going to stop you from doing something.
Oh, so you're defining it as like a sort of an intolerance.
Yes, racism in itself is that is I don't like you, so I don't want anything to do with you. Colorism is I see the features in you and I like them, so I want to be more like you, or I want to blend our two and make something that I feel like is more attractive. That
Okay,
isn't.
so I see where we had a sort of misunderstanding because to me, colorism relates more to, well, racism relates obviously to discrimination against a specific race, be it one's own race or another. And then colorism would be the preference of lighter skin tones, hence
Yeah,
colorism.
features. So yeah. So colorism is not just skin tone. It's like again, pretty much features or whatever, which would lead to.
So if you're saying
It's
it's
not,
features as well, then yeah, then I would agree with you. But
well, yeah, it was explained in
sorry, I'm reading the things on screen.
Yeah, he's saying you're kind of like the girl in Sinners who married Josh Allen.
No idea who
White
that
people
is.
considered her white until somebody told them, what's her name? I forgot her name. Stanfield, Haley Stanfield. Apparently,
Okay.
Haley Stanfield, they just realized, oh, she's got some black somewhere in her system. They found that out, and they've been harassing this football player about her being in a movie with other black people.
Can you show us a picture? I don't know who this is.
Hold on a second.
Here.
oh the actress in Sinners.
Yeah, and she was also played in with Hawkeye.
She looks like Selena Gomez from that picture, like a light Hispanic.
Yeah, like when they were like, wait, she's got black in her? Like, what the fuck?
Which is funny because I actually just found out Selena Gomez is like half Italian, half Hispanic, but she's talking about my people. But I think her dad was Hispanic and her mom raised her. So it's funny that she's talking about Mexicans as her people when she was raised by an Italian.
Well, they all do
but
that.
yeah,
All
they all do that, and
whatever
it's
group allows you to feel like you're more down, they'll sneak it in. You remember the Jonas Brothers came out and let you know, hey, we're black.
What?
I didn't know that.
No, I just found out you were white, but I didn't know they were black. What? 2 shockers in a day?
It becomes very convenient. That's why it was funny, like with Elizabeth Warren. She was that $5 Indian.
Hey,
Kamala, we all know
and that's
she's
what I'm
black.
saying. People don't realize how deep you can go down this rabbit hole when you're playing those games. There's no point in doing it.
But here's the thing. Do y'all think?
No, hold on. It says the
wait,
Jonas Brothers
hold on.
are European.
Do y'all think that like Dave Chappelle was onto something when he came up with the racial draft, right? Do y'all think he was really onto something that we need to claim what side of the person is doing this? Like Tiger Woods, his black side is hitting the ball that far or whatever. like
okay, like I remember watching when I was growing up, loved Guns N' Roses, but then was White Boys. Fuck around, they said Slash was black.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah, that reference misses me.
I need pictures.
Yeah, he was a guitar. He was a famous guitar player.
Michael Jackson,
famous guitar player.
White people loved his hair.
Yep,
he was a nigga.
So, I guess to for a spicier topic, we'll say, what do you guys feel about post-racialism?
I don't know what that means.
It doesn't exist yet. It doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. What do you think? What is post-racialism?
I about to say, yeah, you got to define that for me.
Okay, so essentially, race is a nebulous construct, social construct. Refers to who you ask, what's considered black or white or this or that. How long until we get to the point where it's no longer anything of differentiation, because we have no scientific measure for race either. So at what point does it become obsolete?
Never.
Never.
Yeah, never.
I think
Because will there
people
always be racial purists?
That's
people
slash.
will
There is
always.
scientific evidence for race. Like people's skulls from
Oh,
different parts of the earth look
What
different.
is
No,
the
no.
it,
Like
albino
what,
really
scientifically, if you
light?
look genetically at
it,
people, they're
it won't
often
it
more
won't.
there's more in common with people from Cyprus.
I
And I
don't
Yeah,
might
think
from
be
I don't think it will ever happen because I think
It
people wake up and look for a reason to be angry at someone else every day. People try to blame everything on everybody else in their lives, and I think people will always find a reason to dislike someone.
well that's
I,
that's
I
one of my
think it will
reasons. What I'm
change.
trying to say. Well,
I
no,
do
that's one of
agree
the
with
reasons I'm trying
that.
to say
But
that
I don't
people.
think that it might
No,
be
well,
also I don't think
is
that it
my mic
will always
on?
be racial.
What is? I'm sorry, is my mic on?
Hmm?
yes,
Because
go ahead.
I swear I try to be courteous and not talk over you, but then I try to get in there, and I don't know if you hear
Sorry,
me.
no,
But
I can't hear you because
You
my
go.
computer's
She
kind
got
of
to hear you.
far.
Go ahead.
all right, so the thing is, it racism is not going to go anywhere until the people change. The people have to say enough is enough. Right? We can accept each other's cultural differences and nationalities and the differences in that. Until you sit down and say we need to iron out some problems, it will forever be there because now people want to divide. This is not a society where you have to divide. This is where people want to divide because they like lady said earlier, they need somebody to blame. If I could blame you for my situation, I feel better about my situation. I feel better about myself, and that's what's happening.
Well, I think as society evolves, so will racism, and it'll move to a point to where racism, your color, your race, your religion, whatever, it will become a moot point. When you look at what racism was 70 years ago and what it is today, there are a lot more people who give a shit about what color you are or what race you are as opposed to it was 70 years ago. So by that logic, I would say that maybe over the next 50 to 100 years that it will be a post-racism era that will occur to where that doesn't matter because there are way more people now who could give a shit what color you are, especially the younger generation, than it was before. So I think it will change eventually.
I am also of that opinion because I do think that, and obviously we're not talking about like, anytime soon, but as times change, especially with globalism, people are starting to get more out into other countries, other areas. People like the concept that we have of race has already been pretty nebulous, and now we're starting to have, even like with globalization and the ability to travel, we're having even more different mixes of people pop up with different genetic features. So at what point does that become realistically and possibly a far future the
Oh
majority?
no, it's
I
never
I,
going to be the
I
majority
think
because just real quick. So
okay.
it's never going to be the majority because still you have a very very small percentage of people that mate out that interracially procreate. So again, like you said, I mean,
But how
it's
long
never.
until it dilutes is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the dilution has to be to a degree of where it's the majority. There's never going to be this slow drip to the point of where all black people are mixed or all white people are mixed or so on. It's just not going to happen. And then you look at a historical context, you can see it from that, right? Because you've had black people have admixture. Well, African Americans have admixture, and that's proof of positive in itself. So
Mm.
if we all that's what makes us different from Africans. So you're never going to be able to, especially being that there's dominant genes and features and things and so on and so forth. When we start getting into, like you said, the genetics and things, it's just never going to happen. You would literally have
I
you would literally have to split just real quick. You have to split both of them in half, like all black people in perpetuity. And I know this math isn't right, but at least 50% of them will have to be like, all right, I'm doing nothing but creating mixed kids, and then the mixed kids deal with white people, and then that in order for it to get to the point of where you just told everybody's
excuse me.
Well, you got to do to me. You got to do it like my man Thanos realized the second time he came back.
Thomas,
I got to make it to where people can't remember. At first, he thought, well, if I split them in half, the half that's left will be grateful. But he said, but also the problem with the half that's left is they'll remember what it was like to have the other half. He said, this time I'm going to make it to where none of them remember none of this shit. And going forward, they'll be happy with what it is going forward. The problem is with blacks and whites and everybody right now, everybody has a memory because we have history books of what it was before. So we start judging things and saying things and whatever it is. Like if we had a memory wipe and there was no idea of race, that would have to be started back up. Even the differences would just be things we accept. And let me explain. Isn't that what kids do before adults start touching them and getting in their mind? Kids will see the differences, but they'll think we're all kids. They will point out the differences. Your teeth is fucked up. You just lost your teeth. You got big ears. Whatever is wrong, they will point these things out. And yes, your skin is darker, but they wouldn't say dark is better or worse. They would just know it was different.
1000% correct.
Huh?
I said you 1000% correct. I worked in a school for 4 years, and the little kids did just that, and they still took care of each other just because they were kids.
Adults tell them I'm better. Adults tell them they're worse. You don't even think it's anything. Have y'all seen how many times rich kids play with poor kids? It takes the rich kid's parent to go say, don't you go play with that kid. He's from the other side of the tracks.
They're dangerous.
We don't talk to people like that.
Yep.
You don't play with them.
It doesn't think that though. The kid just saw Playmate.
I guess
it's funny. It's funny
go
because we're all taught, oh, I don't see color. You're not supposed to see color. But as children, we see it. But the difference is we don't have a problem with it. You see it, but there's nothing bad about it. Oh, your hair is different than mine. Oh, your nose looks different than mine. Why are my lips so little and yours are so big? You see it and it's just curiosity. It's
Kids
just,
are
you notice the differences. But then as you get older, you're taught, oh, just pretend you don't see it because it's a negative thing. You're not supposed to like it. So pretend you don't see it. No, I see it, but I don't have a problem with it. Why can't I see it and know it's different? But it doesn't bother me. I notice it's different.
Yeah, I told you, bro. I'm glad I brought this up because I think there's like a nice array of opinions here, but I guess I find it's more of a thought experiment than anything else because like whether or not it's realistic in the future, that is something that I don't think any of us will live to see. But I see skin color. I don't see a significance of skin color.
He's addressing how people say, I don't see color. I don't like or trust anybody who says I don't see color. That is a complete lie. Unless it's Stevie Wonder, you see color.
Unless they're
and Stevie can see, goddamn. They said Stevie was whooping niggas' ass.
I don't see color, but what if they're colorblind?
Did you hear that when they said Stevie drove a car?
Hey man, listen, man. I believe all of it. It's too many people saying he can see, bro. I believe it.
I think he's legally blind, but I don't think he can see well.
Yeah, and he got all them damn kids. He can't miss the hole, goddamn. So that nigga see good enough.
But
I don't know. It ain't hard to find it. I slept with a 400-pound woman. I found it.
Okay, you need Tommy. Go put your damn nose in the corner. You're done.
I found it. I'm just saying. I just poked around until it went somewhere.
You're in timeout. Anyway, but even if you didn't see color, you would see somebody's a darker gray. Like I would think you're the same as me. I would think we're both Italian, tropical. But I would be able to see Fantastic and Tommy. They're a darker gray. You still would be able to see this person's darker.
And I'm with you on that. Like the curiosity is the thing that made it. It's when people started to add, and the other brother said it. You added significance to it. It meant something. It is the same reason why we now say the guy with the glasses on is an egghead. It's a lot of stupid motherfuckers that wear glasses. Why would I automatically think this guy's a nerd because he got glasses?
Because he's a nerd.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, we associate things, and people started telling them, so we just naturally separated things, which was not a problem. The problem was when you said this is better, this is worse.
I mean, I think that because that would be the same sort of argument that Morrissey from the Smiths would have about race, where he's like, I don't think that any one race is better than the other, but I'm very proud that I'm white. And it's something that I think perpetuates hierarchy, which is at the end of the day what we're using different methods of hierarchy, but we're still alluding to the same sort of structure, which is hierarchy. Someone being on top of like another person. And it's either classism or it's racism or it's colorism or it's exoticism or what have you. But they're
But
all different methods of
what's wrong with
hierarchy.
someone being proud to be their color?
It's not that, because
Why
see,
are you
phrasing
proud
it
of
as
that?
pride is where it gets kind
Yeah.
of convoluted, but it's the positive association of one specific thing in which the other thing, by contrast, you like people want to perpetuate this idea of separate but equal, but no matter what in practice, that's not actually the case, is it?
But
Well,
he's not putting any other race down by just saying, "Well, I'm proud to be white."
well, hold on. Let me ask you something. When you have pride in something, shouldn't pride come from an accomplishment?
Sure. I guess it depends on how you look at it, but yeah,
I mean,
I
no, let's
guess.
just seriously think about it. I'm proud to be. Typically, it should be something that you accomplish. You're proud to be tall. What did you do to accomplish being tall?
Be
You can
born,
like
I
having
guess.
blue eyes. Proud? Maybe pride doesn't mean anything to other people, but I think the problem is when we start having words and we scramble them around, that's why we have so much confusion, because words used to mean things. Now we make words mean anything else.
Well,
I
maybe
think
his
Well,
pride stems from the accomplishments that the white race has done.
Yeah, but what have you done?
And
Oh, me
also,
I
to
mean,
an
personally?
if you
extent,
Oh,
haven't
why would that be
accomplished, okay,
anything
I'll
to
say
be?
this. If you haven't accomplished all those things that the white race has done, then you shouldn't be proud of being white. You should actually feel bad for being white because you let down whites. It's
how
like being
so?
in a family. Last I checked, if everybody in your family is a doctor and your ass is a homeless guy, you're going to be a little bit embarrassed because you carry the last name of Denzel Washington's family. You were in the family with him, but you are a crackhead. That is literally the reason why right now Rob and his wife are dead because they had a child that had the Reiner last name but was a failure.
Yikes. That got dark.
Well, he definitely wasn't proud of his family, because if he was, he wouldn't have killed his parents.
That's my point.
I would say also that to build off of your point, to have pride in a race isn't the same as having pride in ethnicity, which is tied more to culture, right?
how did
There's
you know
certain
exactly
values
what I was going to
associated.
say?
Yeah.
This is literally what I was waiting to say. I was about to say,
Beautiful.
if
Please
it's
go.
race, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I was waiting to say this. I think if it's race, then it's weird, but when it's culture, I understand it. Like I'm proud to be Italian. I love being Italian. I love our culture. I love the way we do things, the way we give everyone a hug and a kiss when we walk in. You walk in, it always smells like pasta and meatballs. Like you just everything about the things that we do. Like I love my culture, but like I've never like woken up and been like, "Oh, I'm so glad my skin is a light beige." I just love that about me. Like I don't it doesn't do anything for me. Like if I could choose,
Wait a
I'd
I'm
minute.
probably
just
be
Did
a
you
dark
proud
say,
skinned.
wait a
American.
minute. Hold on. Did you say being an Italian when you walk in a place, it smells like ass, feet, and balls?
So I said pasta and meatballs.
Oh, I was about to
I
say,
heard pasta and meatballs as well, and my computer's very
I heard
far.
ass, feet, and balls. I was like, wow.
No, you walk in and you can
Yeah, I
smell
heard that
the
too,
red
Tommy.
gravy. Y'all both some liars because y'all know I didn't say that. Yes, I love walking into my nanny's house and it smells like ass, feet, and balls. It just warms my little dago heart. I just love everything about it.
That's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. But I've never just woken up and been like, oh, I'm so glad I'm white. Ooh, another day just being white. It's so wonderful.
Well, my thing is
Wouldn't do
this.
it for me.
I'm just a proud American, right? And even with the FBAs, they come in and try to say, "Oh, what's your lineage? What's your lineage?" I say, "I'm a proud American." Well, what American are you? American. And they get frustrated with that. They get frustrated because I'm just proud to be an American and be able to enjoy the freedoms that I may have, right? And I don't know. I just I kind of look at it different from everyone else. And I think Tommy, you said, well, what are we proud of, or what some people are proud of their accomplishment. I think one of my greatest accomplishments was just serving in the military, serving in the Marine Corps, making it back from Iraq. So those are some of the things that I'm proud of. And looking at the cultural difference, I think sometimes people try to use it as a one up. I think sometimes they do. And how can I explain that? Just I'm a proud white man. That doesn't bother me. But if we look at um, some people that say I'm a proud black man and all this other stuff, we have to be honest. There are some people that use that as a one up or to make myself feel better than. But because sometimes if someone says I'm a proud white man, then they looked at it as racist. I think that's asinine though. Just be a
Exactly.
proud.
That's what I
I
was trying to say.
One of the reasons
I would
why they
disagree
do that
because of the
though
power
is
dynamics at play. There's hierarchy, obviously. And
one of
so
the
if you're
reasons
trying
why
to
they
say
do
that
that.
there's no hierarchy associated with, an obviously oppressed minority, then you're ignoring the factual evidence to the contrary. So it's just like if you're trying to say I'm a proud white man, what are you alluding to exactly?
Yes, the only reason a white person would say I'm a proud white man, and I'm just being honest with you, is because in the white world they're midgets. In the black world they are dwarfs, and you're a midget. Because let me explain it to you. They couldn't say I'm a proud white man to another white man because they'd have to have something to be proud of. They'd have to have an accomplishment. They couldn't just say I was proud to be white. They can only get away with saying that to a black person because then they rest on the laurels of whites oppressing the blacks being underneath them, even though not every white's above every black. They want you, or they understand you're going to feel a certain way about it.
Well,
That's
I think he actually he said that to a journalist. I don't know what race the journalist was. Might have been white because Morrissey is from the UK, I believe.
Well,
But
think about it though. But can a white person go to another white person and tell them I'm proud to be white, and that be looked as a one up on that white person?
Nope.
I don't think it's done so in the sake of one upping a black person. I think it's more so done in the sake of like, I would like solidarity with you, other white person.
It's an
Yeah, that's
inclusionary
what I'm saying.
tactic.
It's the only way it could be. But if you think about it this way, is listen to what Alex said. As an Italian, she's proud of her Italian heritage. Now, a lot of times, the reason a lot of Italians are proud of their heritage is because they were knocked down, which is why a lot of blacks will say, I'm black and I'm proud. You say these things because you were knocked down. As a matter of fact, the reason why these FBAs are now saying it is because they believe that other blacks came from other places and looked down upon them, said that American blacks were dumb, they didn't use whatever it was. So now they're using it as a source of pride. Italians did it. Irish did it. Somebody tell me if I'm lying. The Irish were
Yes.
quick to say that they were proud simply because they were the niggers of whites. Most of the time when you get treated bad, you turn around and say, I'm proud. Nerds, didn't they do it? Nerds would say, I'm proud to be a nerd because you tried to make fun of the nerds. So you turn around and say, well, we're going to stand in solidarity with ourselves. Yep, Mexican,
Well, isn't
brown
that
pride.
just that's reclaiming?
Yeah. I remember I was one of the first groups of people, the gamers, we got looked down upon. We did. They talk crap about us. Y'all lame, y'all whatever. Now everybody want to do it, and most of the women are doing it with the half their shirt off. But it wasn't cool at one point. You make it cool because you own it. So I think a lot of people are owning the thing to where they were getting beat down. The whites may be doing it as solidarity with other whites, but the other white typically would not allow this. Meaning, rich people may be together as being rich people, but you ever notice that rich people don't like what's called nouveau riche?
Yes.
New money.
Old money and new
Because
money.
there's a difference between new money and old money, ain't it?
Yep.
But it's still money. So when y'all talk about if we were the same race or we mixed enough and we got to the same place, would racism still exist? Well, when they got to the same financial status, it still existed amongst new money and old money. It's going to
hierarchy.
exist how you, think about it. It's going to exist to how you got to that admixture.
The thing is that, and this is where I get more
one.
into like sort of economic theory and like, because we can go on about post-racial theory, and to any extent it's still more so a thought experiment. But as it relates to hierarchy and scarcity or scarcity of resources, I think hierarchy will persist and it'll take different forms no matter which iteration, be it racism, classism, colorism, nouveau riche versus like old money, etc. This will persist so long as resources are scarce.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can kind of harp on these issues, and that's why. And this isn't an argument towards authoritarianism or a sort of like, oh, hierarchy is necessary, because I think it is to be combated, because it is a sort of like insecure in the sense of like psychologically, to have more resources, one must constantly compare themselves to what others have, right? As like, the scavenger. So one must see, do I have enough resources? Do I have enough this? Do I have enough that? That's just the nature of insecurity, and therefore that constant like nagging feeling. Agreed.
Oh, sorry.
But to iterate off of that, you want like to have a sort of scenario in which resources are, like, let's say, infinite. Does hierarchy still persist?
But what if it's the illusion of scarce resources? You ever thought about that?
I mean, I have, but I'm talking about like pure, everyone is fully aware that resources are not scarce.
So yeah, hierarchy will always exist because it's a human thing. Again, that's how we operate. So you get back into the primal aspect of things. Humans are animals, and it's always going to be a dominance factor, desirability factor, all those different things. So
But
even if
technically, isn't it more advantageous to be more agreeable with your fellow man, and therefore it's considered a more attractive trait to be non-competitive at that
Mm-mm.
point when
no,
scarcity no
Mm-mm.
longer exists?
No,
no,
that's not true.
no, yeah, not at
Because if
all.
Wait,
I'm the
hold
guy
on,
that
think
can
about it
bust,
though.
if I'm the guy that can knock everybody out, I'm gonna be at
But
the
why
top
would you
of the
knock
high.
everyone out if everyone has everything? Everyone would
Because
just be like, why are you
again,
knocking people
Be,
out? Are you
because
crazy?
it's
because I
nature.
can.
Yeah, it's nature. It's that's what we keep
Yes.
trying to. You're never going to
Yes.
escape. You're never going to escape nature. No matter socialization is to thwart and hold back your primal nature to do violent shit. Okay.
But
Yes.
I'm saying, will it be like after generations? Will
No,
that be
that is why.
considered a
No,
negative trait?
it won't, because that is why wars change the world. So when
But
you
we
No,
think
haven't
about
we
when
haven't
you
had a
think about the
situation in which
most,
everyone is fully
so
aware.
hold on.
This is
I can walk
entirely a
with you
thought
now.
experiment.
Hold on, I
Chat.
got you. No. So you're talking like a Wally theory. That's what you're talking about. Everything is perfect.
Kind
You don't
of,
have.
yeah, sure.
I came up with this like years and years ago, right? So you're talking about a point to where the robots take over. Humans don't have to do anything. You don't have to get your food. You don't have to forage for anything.
It's
Everything's pretty much
yes.
given to you and brought to you on a platter, and so on and so forth. In that case, you have an argument. I still think though, because the problem of that is, if and once you will have at least some degree of people that rebel and fight back at some point in time because they see what's going on. You're
yes,
never going to kill that human desire. That's what I'm
But
just.
they see what's going on, but does it benefit the general populace as a society to have people that are just causing shit to cause shit?
No, well, yes and no. Well, it's not causing shit to cause shit. It's always a reaction or reasoning for it, right? So
Is it?
yeah,
Because we
it
haven't
is.
given any sort of instance in which this might be justified, right?
There's a reason why they said in the Matrix, mankind could never accept utopia. It
Yeah.
always rejected it. If you look at the thing on Apple TV called Pluribus, same thing. They understand mankind is made for this thing. So even when you give him more shit, like right now, they have found things to fight and argue about, and we have the most pampered generation. Your generation is the most fucking pampered generation ever existed on earth, and y'all are taking up arms, fighting over stupid arguments, having different things just to make an argument. So yes, you probably could have it to where Elon Musk stated eventually nobody's going to have to work because the machines are going to do all of the work.
Yeah, robots and AI.
Yep, he said everybody's going to be fine. There's not going to be, he said but everybody's not going to be fine. Let me explain to you. Because you're going to get to fuck a woman that looks better than the one that I'm fucking. Can you guarantee that my girl is yours?
Excuse me.
You can't.
Right.
So why I ain't going to go whoop his ass to get that woman or fight over that woman?
Well, the thing is that also at that point, when we reach that, like, let's say we reach that point of post-scarcity, what is considered attractive if everyone has access to any sort of cosmetic procedure, right?
Yeah, but that's just it. So
Like the proliferation of Ozempic, you know,
well,
everyone can get skinny now.
Well, that's
So
what I'm
then
saying.
what your argument's going to be is this person was born that way. This person was made that way.
Yes.
There's going to be an immediate difference between, and they are going to be able to charge different rates for the woman who was born this way genetically to the woman who was modified this way.
Just like now, you're looked at different if you
Just
have
like
a
with the
BBL
BBLs.
versus
Yep.
homegrown.
Yeah, it's
You're
always
considered
going
to
to
have
be
a better
something.
ass if it is your ass compared to
But
having a BBL.
I disagree with the
But
thought that
also you-
women
places.
are to be commodified to
Hold
this
on, it's
extent.
Fantastic been trying to jump in. Go ahead, Fantastic.
So no, the human, like I said, the human design is to never be satisfied, right? You have people like you're going to get bored. You're going to want to do things.
Westworld sex.
That's a really good show, by the way. Yeah, that's some real shit. But so again, just the human design just won't allow it. I'm telling you, it's just not. It's always gonna be something. No matter how much you bring everything up, and everybody has everything that they can have. Greed is never going to go anywhere. It's a thought.
That's what I was going to say. Greed.
Yeah, greed, jealousy, all those things, all those emotions. You're never going to get rid of those things. So like Tommy said, there's going to be something to where, somebody has something that's different than everybody else's. So now everybody wants that one thing, and now it becomes scarce because it's something that somebody decided to be a creative, right? And you create one thing that only one person has. So now, even though everybody has everything, the new thing is the thing, and now we fight over it. So that's what
everybody live on
I
the
do think
West
that's a
Coast?
fair point, actually.
Can everybody live on the West Coast? Can everybody live in the snow? Can everybody live on the water? Can everybody live? There are so many places where somebody's going to say, seems like the girls like that guy that lives on the beach more than that guy that lives in the mountain.
But why does it always come back to like attractiveness and sex?
Because
wait a minute, isn't that? Oh, go ahead. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, biological imperative, and that's what you're never going to get past that. That's what I'm telling you. You're fighting human design. You have two things, no matter what: procreation and survival.
I know, and I guess I'm bringing it back to that point because that was a little bit of a leading question. Because once again, if you were incentivized not to fight to fit into society, because fighting is obviously going to be considered a disadvantageous trait, because you are promoting discord and where there should be peace, and everyone's going to be like, what is wrong with you? Chill. Could it, and this is I just like messing around with this theory, could it be bred out of bred out of humanity? Because it would be such a disadvantageous trait to have.
No, because everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, and you have
But if you get punched in the mouth and everyone has everything, everyone's going to look at you and be like, what is wrong with the guy who just punched? What is
why did Rob Reiner's son, who had everything you would ever want, choose to do things that would put that at risk? Why is it that the guy who's married to a beautiful woman, has a great job, has everything, why would the Michigan coach put everything he's gathered at
$30
risk
million bag
on OnlyFans? Why? Yeah. Because men have been born that way. If you look at it, if you're asking about perfection, remember the first story of perfection, Adam and Eve. They had it all. They had everything.
You say it with such certainty, though. I'm just kind of bringing up the idea to be like, ooh, kind of just like.
No, I'm saying,
but this is why it will always revert back to that primal
instinct. Other than perfection.
Yeah, we're working through it with you.
Yeah, think about it. They never knew anything else but perfection, and they still.
But you guys haven't considered the actual thought process of the other side of the argument. You've immediately taken one side.
No, we're listening to you. That's why we're responding the way we're responding.
No, I'm saying because I personally, I can argue both sides.
But aren't you?
I can argue both sides. I think it's more interesting to argue the side that says, "Oh, but what if?"
Okay, so why wouldn't you tell us? They must think it's more interesting to argue that side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's why I'm taking the opposite side right now because I'm just like, come on.
Give yourself the ability to argue the other side because you think it's more interesting, but you're telling us we must consider both.
And you can't tell me that because I told you.
Counter arguments, or sorry.
Well, no, I told you.
You guys were already having the argument that I thought originally, and I was like, okay, so what would the inverse be?
No, I already told you. Tell me if I'm lying. you brought up Wally, so that means you've considered
Exactly.
it,
That's
right?
what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, I've already considered what you're talking about. That's exactly. Tommy beat me to it. So I've already thought about, and I've talked about this concept at length, because I talk about the whole robot takeover and Elon Musk being a damn super evil genius in real life. He's plans on excavating fucking Mars and us living underground in fucking Mars. Okay, so love your concept. I'm
Have
not
you?
poo-pooing it. I'm
Mr.
not shitting on
Fantastic.
it.
Wait, I want to make sure I understand you because I believe I gotta admit how ignorant I am. Did you say Wally, like
Yes,
the
like
robot
like the Pixar movie.
cartoon?
Yes,
When you
exactly. Yes.
first said it, I thought you was talking about some great philosopher.
No.
I
Wally,
don't know who the fuck
but
this
it is
is.
a
I
great
gotta look this
philosophy.
up.
I'm about to say,
Well,
yeah,
he's the greatest
But
philosopher
when
of
he
all
said
philosophy
it,
is
It is
where
a
you
great
find it, is
philosophy.
it
he
not?
said it again. I said, "Wait, he talking about Wally?"
Listen,
Look,
philosophy is where you find it. That's why
Yeah.
I talk about my man, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, Frederick R. Krueger, when he said, "Help yourself, bitch."
Fucker.
Help yourself, fucker. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally missed that first Wally, man. I swear I did. I
Wait,
gotta admit
Yeah,
it.
man.
But
I don't know. I just think post
Tropical, I just
scarcity is a
wanted to
really
say that
interesting concept.
the inverse of what you're saying, because you're making the point that you've looked on the other side, but the inverse of what like most of the men in this stage are saying, they're just following nature. So the inverse of that would be literally to go against nature, which would be a problem.
I'm
That's
saying that
my
nature itself would change at that point. Because, see, I think the easy answer is what we go off of the logic that we already know, which is competition and which is scarcity. But
It's
we
just
haven't had
like
to
in
live in a post scarcity where competition is disincentivized. So I'm
But
trying
how
to
are
put
you going to
myself in that
mitigate? But how are you
headspace.
going to mitigate greed though? Even though some it seems like you're talking about a utopia that everyone has
Yeah, no,
everything that they need.
this is entirely a thought experiment.
yeah.
So
All
it
right, but
doesn't exist.
Have you
well,
noticed
no,
they've
but
done experiments with? Sorry, Corey, but they've done experiments with children where they've given them all the exact same thing. You know what one of the kids decided to do when given the exact same thing?
take one from somebody else
Take one from someone else,
Yes.
and they were
because you
children.
want more.
I know,
Just
but
like
I'm
in
saying,
Jurassic Park.
at what
In
point,
Jurassic
like,
Park,
let's
nature
say,
will find a way.
oh, sorry.
It's the same thing. It's like it's
Ian
gonna
Malcolm, the
revert
great
back to
Ian
that.
Malcolm.
Yeah, what I don't get about this is like, okay, if we lived in some world where robots did everything, I don't get how people could be happy because then we still don't have money, so we can't buy what we want.
Well, the robots just money is not.
It becomes insignificant. She's saying,
Yeah, it's not really. It holds no value at any point.
but see,
Yes,
that's what we're
UBI.
trying to say, Tropical. We have thought about this. I'm telling you, I'm a sci-fi kid, and sci-fi kids have thought about this
I'm also a
several
sci-fi
times.
kid.
Yeah, so we've thought about it several times, a lot. Like, there's got to be a way to make it to where you can breed out the evil parts of humanity. And you know what usually happens? That great thought turns real bad as you try to make that happen.
Well, I think it's
Eugenics.
so
Man
interesting
doesn't make
because
the program.
if you see greed as less of an evil, right, and more as an instinct to survive, and then you remove the stimulus that would cause it to be an instinct to survive to the point
then
in which
you
it's
would
no longer
die out.
advantageous.
But
I don't think. Mhm.
you would
Because
pretty
I
much
think
die out
that
then,
I don't
because
you
think
you
you
can
would
don't have
give the
have
that
the
instinct
kids.
to
instinct to
survive.
survive because the guy who has $200 million will never be able to spend it, and he still tries to get more. Why?
Yep.
Why does he try to get
That I
more?
think that
Even
has
at
more
a
to do
point,
with
it
social
shouldn't matter,
capital.
huh?
Social capital.
No, but think about this. How many times have you seen a guy who's achieved everything and he should quit? It's time to retire. You
Hmm.
you you work your whole life to retire. Do you know that most guys, when they get to that point, they tell themselves that lie: when I make enough money, I'll retire. And
Yep.
then when they've made enough money, they can't
They
retire.
work until they die.
They
I
can't.
wish
I know.
someone would tell
Aaron
that to Jerry
Rodgers,
Jones.
Or
Yes.
somebody need to tell Aaron Rodgers that
yeah,
he
you
needs to
get
retire.
bored.
Tom Brady lost his family when he had told his wife, when I get to this point, I am going to leave. He had the most beautiful woman in the world as a wife who just wanted to be his wife, quit her job because he told her, when I
Sorry.
get here, I'm quitting. He couldn't quit to save his marriage.
But is that more to do with one's inability to face mortality?
He loved what he was doing that much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It
all
was
it's
a
already
moment
known
to
it's already
change.
known for 20 years. So you got to think, right? That's a part of your essence. That's a part of your being. That's a part of who you are. So just leaving that alone, it's something that you have to come to terms with. Some
Well,
people
yeah, but
do
he
it.
didn't have to do it in a professional capacity.
Well, no, things sound good to say. They're harder to do. That's why everybody on January 1st makes what? New Year's
Resolution.
resolutions. What happens throughout that year?
Don't
Please
Take a bus
stick
don't
to
around
that.
don't
town.
last through January.
I actually
They-
stuck to mine. I was very good this year.
well,
Well,
Okay, so
well,
you're
well,
living in this perfect world then. We're not.
listen, some people can. I tell you, she look in the mirror and she see what she see. She can think that way. Probably life is all dandelions and candy to somebody look like that. Lady, I look in the mirror and see this. It is not that for me. It's a little rougher for me. I can't sit here and think the way you're thinking. It is one of the things like it's easy for someone to say when they're 20, I want to retire if I get this much. I don't know anybody. As a matter of fact, here's two other worlds that do it. Drug dealers,
Hmm.
they do it, and strippers. Both of them say, I'm only entering into this thing to get this. And when I get this, another group of people who do it, people who gamble. I have a gambling addiction. I love gambling. I've lost so much money gambling, it's crazy. You know what I've told myself when I sit down at that table? If I win this much money, I'm quitting. I've won that much money and kept playing. And you know what I realized that I was gambling for? It wasn't even the wins and the losses. It was the excitement of playing
yep,
the
the
fuck.
thrill. The thrill. Yep.
Endorphins, dopamine.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all it was. So now you got to take dopamine out of human beings.
That's
Because
never
one
That's
human
what I was wondering, honestly, because I got to that point of thought where I was like, is dopamine no longer going to be an advantageous thing for humans to
no.
experience? Because it
It's
is
it
really just like when you think about it chemically, what they've done so far during studies is that they actually see that dopamine has more to do with the actual like journey slash chase of the thing. And when you get the thing, you don't actually get an extra hit of dopamine.
well, no, but even still though, it's a build up, right? So in the process of doing the activity or whatever, right? Just look at a roller coaster ride. So right, so you're the dopamine there, it starts because you get on a roller coaster.
Mm.
Then you go slowly up the thing, right? Then you hit the dip to wherever you're going through the speed part, and the dopamine is rushing as long as that's going,
Well,
but you still have some
actually,
residual after it's done.
no, because once you hit that point in which you're done climbing to the top, that's where the dopamine stops and the adrenaline hits.
Look how many people have lost their whole life over this social media thing. The person just said it. It's a dopamine that a lot of people have never had. It's a hit a lot of people have never had. 100 people like my butt. It hasn't been
Yeah,
100 people in their whole life that told them they agreed with them. 100
what?
people in one shot said, "Oh, go ahead."
You know what, Tommy? No, that's another interesting thing, right? This is why Tommy, I'm gonna say this. This is why it'll never happen, because now we've done things that humans were never intended to do. I was never supposed to know that there were fucking a million fine ass fucking women that exist in the world. You know what I'm saying? I was only supposed to
Million
know the women
finance
that are
women?
millions and billions. Yeah. Like literally
What do you mean by
they're
finance women?
fine
They're
ass
very
women.
attractive.
Like very
Oh,
attractive women.
I heard finance women. I was like,
We
women
from
work in
Georgia.
finance.
Not
What are you
fine ass.
talking
Fantastic.
about?
Fine.
We from Georgia. She ain't never heard
Yeah, I'm
this.
from Georgia, baby. I'm from fine ass women, right? So a man was supposed to be limited to the women that were in his area, of course. And then once the TV was created, just a very few and small number of actresses and singers and stuff and so on and so forth, right? That pool is extremely small. Now it is fucking exponentially grown by 1,000,000,000%. So now this is why there's always this catch thing. It's like Tommy said, there's always this something out there better, because now I'm exposed to literally the world when I was only supposed to be able to know my block, my city, and wherever I was to travel to in real time outside of the very select few of women, you know what I mean, that were celebrities. So
Yeah.
now that is open, and now, like you said, for the women, I think the women are more, it's more detrimental to them than the men, because we know the importance of attention are for women, right? Especially, from attractiveness and things. But men do it too, right? It's similar to men, but I don't. There's no
Excuse me.
There's no more. There's no closing Pandora's box. We can't return from this.
Mr.
And
Fantastic.
dopamine.
I just realized. I'm sorry, Corey. Just one thing. I just realized what she thought you said.
Finance women like money.
I was like, women work in finance. What are you talking about?
Hey, think about it. Dopamine got these motherfuckers eating Tide Pods, the crate challenge, and all the other shit. These motherfuckers love the likes that they got. They love the attention that they got from just doing these stupid fucking things. All right,
Yeah,
they
funny as shit. When I
yeah,
The
came
pass
shit
out
ain't a
down,
lot.
challenge.
ooh,
Right.
shit.
I think I think people die from that shit, but
Hey,
still,
The mighty crates of Kemet.
they had the crackheads up on the crates. I said, y'all got to be crazy.
I'm
But
so glad I
but
never saw anybody die from that because I sure said it was gonna happen. With that.
somebody they said some people to die from this shit. But think about it. What makes you go up there? What makes you go up on a crate challenge and risk your life? What makes you eat a Tide Pod where you can possibly die? I think they was drinking fucking Drano and shit and bleach. But what's the attention? It's the dopamine you get from, oh, look at him. He's about to do something stupid. And everybody comes on the laugh if you survive it.
The
I
hot
think
pepper
Oh, we
and
made
cinnamon
bungee
test.
jump.
I think low
Bungee jump.
IQ also makes them do that though. And then I also think, I mean, maybe the internet is good for that because if you are dumb enough to eat a Tide Pod or do the pass out challenge, like,
Huh?
should you survive it? I mean, I'm just saying.
No, but think about it. Look what
You're
happened with
arguing for
all those
natural
rich men.
selection.
All those rich men started doing more and more. I told people all the time, the more money you get, the more all roads lead to booty holes. Have you noticed most of those rich men find their way to sleep with underage girls and each other? How does that happen? They get bored. If you
Hey,
are Kelly, 36 women try to come and screw you at the same time. Everything you ever thought about doing with a woman, you've done it. Everything I dream about doing, they've done it 18 times. So what is Puffy doing now? Puffy now hiring a man, paying that man $7,000 to sleep with his girl.
and
Who
then
does
rub his semen on his chest like a
yes?
pause.
Who does
But
this?
hey, a lot of people don't know that Hugh Hefner was fucking them boys. Hugh Hefner
Yes.
admitted it.
What
He,
have
I said
to?
all roads lead to
yes.
booty
See,
holes. They
listen,
do.
hey,
Hugh
Wait,
I'm trying
Hefner
to,
was
Heffa
fucking
do
I gotta
anything?
everything.
inform him, Tommy.
Was Heffa do
Listen,
though?
you never just real quick,
I
Alex
think
Love.
so.
You never want to hit your pussy limit. Okay, once you hit your pussy limit, it's over with.
What
You start putting your dick in weird shit.
That's the first time I've heard that
what
term.
is that?
Yeah, I know,
What
baby.
is a pussy
I'm
limit?
innovative. Oh,
All
Well,
they
it's
said
okay.
is you need to always be able to imagine what you want to do with a woman. Because
yes,
when you
hmm
no longer can imagine it, booty
Then
hole.
shit starts
yes.
going left.
But
That,
wait,
Look,
doesn't
that's when
love
you find
exist? I
yourself.
don't know.
That's when
I'm
you
trying
find
to be
yourself
like
in an alley getting your nuts stepped on by a fucking
yeah,
hooker
or
with
that, or
fucking
some weird,
9-inch
yeah,
heels.
chains, whips, hooks, all that. You got a bitch got a motherfucker damn near. Hey, David Carradine choked to the
Yes.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
shit like that, man. You can't
Wait,
No,
but
get.
Yes.
men
I
are
think this
only as
goes.
loyal as their options. So this talk about love to a
I don't
rich man,
know.
it's a whole different ball
I
game.
okay, I
That's
guess
why
I'll put
God
myself a
didn't
little
want
bit out
Solomon
there,
to have
but
all them damn concubines. Hey, it's gonna get to the point, sir. When them goats
there
gonna start looking good.
Hey,
I've dated a few
Dwight Howard.
celebrities who
Yes.
who I think are, well, one, they've not only been extremely loyal, but they like me for me.
Huh?
So I think that there's something to be said about the emotional attachment and sentimentality that is attached to a certain person. So you can have, I think, to an extent, maybe it is reaching your, what did you call it? Your,
Pussy limit, or vagina
okay.
limit.
When you reach that, maybe you actually just settle down and you're like, actually, I just like
No,
this person.
No, 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 no,
No, when
no.
you
Because
reach that,
Not when
I've
you have
seen
those
it.
options.
I've seen
yeah,
it.
yeah. So no, I've never seen it, baby. I never will.
Yes.
I love that pussy, baby. I'm an expert, baby. Mister get to the bottom, but anyway, that's another thing for another day. You might be able to know. Listen. It is to the point of like Tommy said, and it's rare because it's really wealthy men or men that are famous, men that can get women with ease. So what happens is they get such a plethora of women, and they've had every sexual situation they can have, to where they're bored. for a man, your mental stimulation is at least 51% of your sexual interaction. Again, I don't want to turn this into, you know, freaks at night type shit, but the penis does all the work, baby. And the penis needs mental stimulation along with physical, right? And a lot of people don't understand that. So if and when that doesn't work anymore for you, you get weird shit. Shout out to my man, a relationship rehab, to where now bitch got a motherfucking kick you in your chest with some high heels on. You feel me? Or you got to
I
go out
mean,
here.
I think I know people that
This
have
is why
wanted that
motherfuckers out
before
there
they
getting
ever
shitted
hit
on
that
too.
limit, and I think I know
Yeah,
people that
weird
wanted
shit
to
like
settle
that.
down after they've hit that
Now look,
limit.
no. We're not saying that there aren't people who want to settle that. There are plenty of married men who still getting their nuts stepped on. They got married. That didn't change the fact that they're doing this. Y'all believe that ring meant that he no longer doing this? No,
Or
that
hey,
ring.
Tommy, shit, we didn't even talk about it. The swingers. The swingers.
Yes, that is a thing.
I think
Yes.
it's like how some people have addictive personalities and others don't. I think there is something in a lot of people that were just sexual deviants. It's like I would use porn as an example, right? It's like everybody starts out watching a Skinamax, and then the next thing you know, you need hardcore porn. And then the next thing you know, you need to watch gangbangs. And then the next thing you know, you're watching people fuck horses, and you don't know how you got here. This is not my story, but you don't
Oh
know
no,
how
that's
you
Sure,
mine.
got.
Go ahead.
sure it is,
Shit,
Alex.
blossom.
No, but
I
for
Sure
don't
it
know
real.
is.
how I don't know how the equine got in there, but he was there.
The next thing you know, you're on the dark web. No, I would never. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, nobody starts out watching like 8 dudes fuck one chick. Like, you don't start out there, but you just get there because next thing you know, watching one girl and one dude in missionary, you can't get there. It just doesn't do it for you.
And
I
it's
wonder
a
if
thing.
that's
You
more
remember
to
you
do with
talked
like the
about dopamine.
proliferation of.
Everybody's chasing the dragon. There's a thing. You're chasing the dragon, and I'm glad that Mr. Fantastic said that, because y'all don't understand. We call it a boner, but we don't actually have a bone. If we had a bone, then sure, we'd never have to work it. But that thing works off this.
And
And
Tommy, what people don't know, we're one of the few mammals that don't have a bone. Most animals have an actual bone as to where to assist them in,
Raccoons do.
And think
Raccoons.
about it. We actually are the only people who, well, not one of the few things on earth that actually has sex for recreation.
Yeah, for pleasure.
So we are now looking for this pleasure thing. So you give me everything else, dear. I got food at abundance. Everybody got a nice house. Nobody got to go work. You know what I still want to do though? Copulate. Coitus. So when you asked me earlier, why does it always boil down and come back to that? Because even when it gets to the point where we have sex robots that really are close to human, you want to know one of the most fun parts that men have about going out at night? Being able to convince a woman to have sex with us. I don't even enjoy the sex. I like being able to
Why do
convince you.
it then?
The hump, yeah, the hunt though. It's the hunt again. We keep the biological imperative. A man's natural desires to chase after a woman and get a woman to, submit to him.
Well, I think that's more social capital though between you two now.
You say what now?
Social capital between the two of you. It's like subconsciously competitive.
No. Well, I don't think it's a social capital thing. I think it's like
yeah, because it's like who can get the woman.
No, I'm not going against him.
You're not talking about men.
It's like playing golf. In golf, I'm playing the course. I'm not playing.
I guess also in the sense of social capital of like I can get women, therefore, because social capital would just be a different form of capital in which it's
no.
peers.
Listen, most of the women I've gotten, I don't tell nobody I got it. It was between me and that woman.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not even saying to do it to boost his ego or boost his reputation or make him a more known person or make him more desirable. He's just saying the simple hunt between a man and a woman, a man's desire for woman.
But you said that you didn't even like it.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying, man, it's like when I gamble. When I win, I don't feel like I won a championship. Even Tom Brady said when he won a Super Bowl, he felt better going after the Super Bowl than actually winning.
It's the chase. That's what people. That's what we're trying to say.
Adrenaline.
And let me give you one of the biggest examples of it. Look at Corey right there. He's got that thing in his hand. He's got a gun. Well, there's a lot of people who carry a gun or a bow and arrow, and you know what they go do? Hunt. Why the fuck are they hunting when they could go to Sprouts or Kroger and get that same damn meat and never have to go do it?
It's the thrill, because when I go hunting, when I go hunting or fishing, Trust me,
Sorry.
is right before I take that shot. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. Like you finally nailed the well, I hate to say that around Tommy, but you nailed the buck that you wanted. Damn it.
You
You just
nailed that
come right
fuck.
before you.
But it's just like with women. Women do the same thing. Women will chase
Mhm.
after a particular man amongst themselves, and then once they get that man, if they see another man that they want to go after, they'll go after that man.
Relationship
Yeah, you
rehab.
like
I
How
feel
many
like this is
times?
so misanthropic, though.
Relationship rehab, because he got that name, I can ask him directly. How many times have you ended up having to talk to people who, especially women, who had the perfect situation and still blew it on a motherfucker that didn't even have a job? All he could do was lay on the couch.
Like Reese Bobby, it's countless times where they are just driven to want that thing that they cannot have, and that is the thrill, and they don't even realize that that's what they're going after, because once you get it, you're like, huh,
Well, I guess
okay.
to loop back into the original post-scarcity conversation, when you realize enough times that you keep like touching your hand on the stove and burning yourself, because you keep chasing after the thing and then you burn yourself, do you realize maybe it's not advantageous to be greedy?
Yes, that's
No,
why we have
no,
things
but you
called.
have to
That's why we have
remember,
things called addicts.
and there you go, and then you have
Act?
to remember there are
A
some people
kleptomaniac
that
does what? They don't steal
Steal.
because they need it.
Mm.
That's a person that no matter how much you tell them, the crackhead knows for a fact smoking crack will cause me to lose these things because they've lost it before. You know how many motherfuckers I've talked to who are alcoholics, who have lost every job and relationship they had due to alcohol, and they tell themselves, I'll never drink again. And they somehow convince themselves that I can have one or two drinks. After
I
they know
mean,
every time they
I'm
said this, it didn't work.
I'm saying in the like once again, I'm bringing it back to the abstract here. So, let's say you have infinite amount of tries. You keep touching the stove, you burn yourself. At what point do you realize that it's just you're just
you,
touching the stove and you're going to
that's
keep
not
burning
it.
yourself?
They
Speak
they
of,
Yeah.
get
hold on, would
addicted
this polite
to
society that you speak of allow someone to have infinite amounts of times of fucking up?
Hey, I was not the one that brought. I was not the one who came up with the idea of polite society. I was
No, I'm
told about
asking you.
it.
You said we're not thinking of where you are. Well, I'm trying to put myself where you at now. So you said they have infinite amounts of time to fuck up, right? Is that what will happen in this society?
In the post scarcity mentality. Yes.
So you can keep fucking up infinite amount of time. You know what happens when you tell people they can fuck up and there's no repercussions?
No, no. I'm saying you touch your hand on the stove every time and it
yeah,
burns.
so it's
But I
like
don't
this.
You're getting a
die
What if
and I can
negative.
I
do it again.
what if
I
Sorry,
I
don't
you're getting
die.
like
If my wife get mad because I cheated, but I'm still married, is it more likely I'll fuck around or less likely?
no, cause see, that's once again you're not facing consequences. When you touch your hand on the stove, that's positive punishment.
yeah, but
Yeah.
tropical,
So
what
so
if what if, but tropical, here's the thing. What if I like the
My
burn?
hand heals. Listen to what they're
What if
saying.
I like
Yeah,
the
your
burn?
hand
Just
but
like
heals, but you
cutters.
keep
Right.
doing
Oh,
it, and it burns more and more.
It's just
yeah,
like
no, but it
cutters.
heals.
I
And
yeah,
he
like it. It's
said,
gonna
what if I like
heal.
the burn?
I
I'm
like
getting
the
off on the
burn.
burn.
Yes.
yeah, but
Just like I get off on the asphyxiation when
Yes.
I'm jacking off.
That's still bringing it
So
back
no
into the
matter
Y'all
what
heard it
sexual.
here
happens,
I'm
first.
saying like
Y'all heard
okay
it here
in this
first.
scenario because I'm using the touching the
I told him
stove
what
as
he told
a like
him.
metaphor, right?
Brian, what did you say you do now?
I
Just
didn't
make
hear
sure I want the
anything.
people in
I
the
didn't
back
hear
to hear.
anything.
Brian, you said you do
I
what?
said just like if someone gets off on the asphyxiation
No,
while
that's not what
they're
you said.
jacking off.
That's not what you said. You
Look at my
said,
neck, you fuckers. There's no marks here.
I don't care what type of makeup you got on. He said he gets off on the asphyxiation. You
When he
told him what
jacking
you
off.
told
I
him.
just wanted to make sure.
But
But
if that is your thing,
I know for your
then
birthday
that's
this
where
year,
it
I'm gonna get
is.
you a belt and tell you have a good evening.
You son of a bitch.
I okay.
I'm gonna get it one of
I
them
don't know what
boys
you do in your
you
spare
tie down
time, but
stuff on the
I
truck.
hope that you don't
I'm
do
gonna
anything
send you
too
that.
dangerous.
Y'all ain't
But
shit.
to
But I'm
like
saying to you,
once again,
if
the
that's
touching
the
the hand on the stove
thing,
is the metaphor.
yes, if that's the thing that I get off on, if it's not the outcome, but it's the actual act of the thing, then that's where it's at. It's not about, it's just like people who are sleeping with multiple people regardless of what their relationship status is. If I'm just into that thing of just having somebody new, it doesn't matter if you're attractive, it doesn't matter if you're fat, if you're skinny, it doesn't matter. I'm just into the sleeping with someone that I've never slept with before. So
but what I'm
that's
saying
just,
is that, because once again, we're ignoring the repercussions and the consequences of said action, which I'm saying in this case of the metaphor is touching your hand on the stove, right?
Yeah,
right.
so let me
That's why I
burn.
gave you the metaphor of the cutting, like people that cut themselves. They
Well,
cut
you
themselves,
still
and there
get
is a
technically
pain
an
there.
endorphin rush from that.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing with
A
a
little odd.
burn.
But once again,
Yeah.
I'm taking it more into the abstract of like it's just pure suffering.
No, you get the same thing with a burn.
I'm saying
Yeah.
the burn is just a representative of suffering. Like there's no good outcome. Your brain is not pushing any
That's
positive
Yeah.
not
chemicals
true.
out.
There is
Yeah.
I like the
She's trying to
suffering
take it
part.
out of it. She's saying, "Oh no,
Yeah, I got you.
yeah." She's saying it doesn't exist. Like, but then
Yeah.
you're taking human beings out.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why
and
I'm
I
trying
will.
to bring it back into this whole concept of like if you can have infinite pleasure all the time, hooked into your veins, do you feel
Yeah.
anything anymore?
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm saying, right? So the scenario you're setting up goes against against a biological imperative. Pain is something where you have a immediate response. Pain is one of the very few things that requires an immediate response from human beings, right? So more likely than not, your mind is going to remember exactly what's going on, and it's going to hinder you from doing that again. You're just not going to keep torturing yourself unless, shout out to like what relationship rehab says, you have some type of masochistic
Impulse.
yeah, but that would be extremely rare because again, for most people, the vast majority of people, if you feel pain, your brain remembers that, your body remembers that, and it doesn't want you to do it anymore.
So to loop it back into going off of what you just said just now with that logic, if it's just immediate pain and your brain remembers that and it's a positive punishment psychologically, does it incentivize you to keep doing the thing that is harmful?
No, but
Did you
why would it be a
understand what
positive
one
punishment?
person asked? They said,
It's just like a
without
psychological term.
without
Because
pain,
there's like
pleasure wouldn't
negative
exist. Though.
reinforcement.
Without
positive
pain, pleasure
punishment.
wouldn't exist. You would not know pleasure if you didn't know pain. So a part of the pleasure is the pain, which just like a lot of people, working out becomes so addictive to them, they don't stop because they've now gotten in shape. The part of the struggle, the sweat. I was a kid. I don't know what this was about. My mother will tell you. As a child, I used to take pins, these little straight pins with a little ball on the end of them. I would take them out of the little red thing that my mother had them in, take them and stick them through my skin. And it used to feel amazing.
I did that too with the sewing needles.
Yes, it felt
Yeah.
amazing. It was
I think
one of
it's an endorphin thing.
yeah, but I'm saying, but why? It was supposed to, would nobody else do it?
Well, I
other
think
people
we're
thought I was
attributing once
cool.
again the whole hand on the stove metaphor. Like, okay, so let's remove the hand on the stove metaphor and let's just say you get an immediate jolt of like, this is the worst pain ever.
Yeah, but is it the
Yes,
worst
you
pain?
can. You can wire yourself to where you find pleasure in that thing. It's just like women who are size queens. There's a level of pain that they like because you have a big penis to where you're stretching them out to where they
Oh,
like
that's what that
that pain
means.
to go with that pleasure. That's why what Tommy said, you have to know one in order to know the other. You can't just have all of one because you wouldn't know the other. So if I can stretch you out, and if that's what you're into, then you're going to be trained in that because I'm the one that's doing that to you. So I can rewire your brain into wanting that, just like women who are into physical abuse. It's
Like
a
I'm so
learned
weird. Like
behavior.
I'm so weird. I can't. For everybody that claim they like sex, I cannot have sex if there's no camera there. There has to be a camera there. I cannot have it. I will not have sex with a woman if it. Yes, I will not have a sex if there's no camera. I cannot get hard.
Is that an exhibitionist thing?
Yes, yes, but it's like my and here's how I try to explain to people. I would like to have sex in front of an audience, but I'm kind of shy. So the camera acts as people for me.
It's his proxy.
Yes, it's a way around it.
I guess it's like a non-harmful solution.
Yes. So a lot of people will then turn around and do certain things to get that thing. Like imagine there are people who believe. Have you guys ever heard of oral fixations? Like cigarettes.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who don't smoke because they like cigarettes. It's the movement and the thing in their hand.
Putting things in your mouth too. Oh.
I didn't say
I
that.
mean, I think we're still taking it into what I was describing as pure suffering into the sexual. But it was more so to just talk about like whether or not one would recognize over a significant amount of time if a certain behavior was disadvantageous to them, if they would stop.
And you're right to a degree, but you can go past that threshold to where you train yourself even to something that is painful, something that is even detrimental to you. You can go past.
What if
that
society
point to where
starts
that's what you do.
like essentially saying that, because like what if you're not being harmful to just yourself, you're being harmful to another person?
Unless society is going to stop you, you're going to do that thing. Ask Jack the Ripper.
I think he got sexual pleasure out of that, actually.
Whatever he got out of it, he didn't stop. That's all.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, okay, actually, maybe this is a better metaphor. Let's say you touch your hand on the stove.
Totally against it, but he kept going.
Every time you touch your hand on the stove, instead of you feel the pain, but also a small child feels the pain.
It's still going to be that same thing, because if I like causing pain to children, I am going to keep doing it unless someone stops me. It's just like child molesters now.
They're going to ostracize you
yes.
for
What about
putting
that?
a child in pain.
How do you? Oh, he's got a point, Tropical. How do you quench my thirst for children binding a woman up? I don't like a woman to say, yes, we'll have sex. I like her to fight. They tell you a lot of times when a man grapes a woman, it is not about sex, it's about power.
Yes.
Well, isn't that a famous Oscar Wilde quote?
Yeah.
But you have to be wired for that. You have to be wired to do that. There are men who like women to just lay there and not do anything. Bill Cosby wanted women to just lay there. I don't want you to do anything.
They like necrophiliacs.
Yes.
They won't go as far as to sleep with a
I think it's two separate
things.
I'm
saying they won't go as far as to sleep with a dead person. That's their step before sleeping with a dead person, is having a woman comatose.
Yes. I want you to just lay there.
Isn't that a narcophiliac? No.
No, I'm saying, but it's a direct link. They just can't it's just like me. You remember how you heard what I said? And you said, well, that's kind of like you want a bit of voyeurism. I said, yes, I'm just too scared to go as far as to have the people stand there and do it. That's what a person who likes to see a woman knocked out does.
Yes.
He's too scared to go and actually get a corpse.
Yes.
But he'll get there if you let him do it long enough.
He will evolve.
For some reason, Tropical, I think you are trying to say that people should have limits, and it's really on the person to have limits. You it seems like you're trying to poke holes into that someone should stop behavior because society doesn't accept it. Some people don't care about what society accepts.
Sorry.
They care about feet.
Right.
But they care about feeding their dopamine, their hit. This is why you have people that are on drugs. Being a crackhead is not a favorable thing, but they still going to go out to get that crack.
Think about it. The name itself, Corey, makes it to where you think nobody would go be a crackhead.
Yep.
That name itself should have stopped several people from trying it. What makes a person say, "Let me try that crack"?
Yep.
Let me not misrepresent myself. I just really like having these sorts of discussions. So I think that they're interesting, and I think I like getting everyone's opinions on them. And everyone had different sort of reactions / not justifications, but like sort of explanations for why behavior would be as such. So I once again do think that hierarchy is, at least at the moment, inherent to humanity. Will it or will it not be bred out due to post-scarcity if we ever get to that point, or if we just die, like we go extinct first? Who knows? Genuinely not sure. But I want to clarify that I just like having these conversations.
Yeah, no, that's
And
fine.
it's actually I will say this. It's actually less harmful and mean than the other conversations we were having where it riles people up to where they're like, this is just a thought exercise. And the thought exercise goes from you're arguing with the idea of perfection. And I think many of us have had that thought in our mind. I don't think any human being with a good conscience hasn't thought what would make the world perfect. That's why there's so many movies about perfect worlds that still collapse. Because I think somehow we keep saying man has this weird need to be counterculture. Because think about it. Some people get off by having you be miserable. Most of the
Yeah.
people who get on Twitter right now, they have a miserable life. They get happy if they can say something on your page and piss you off.
Yeah.
Misery loves
No, I
company.
completely agree with you. And I think what's more difficult is to argue the idealist perspective.
I just like bringing up any conversation and seeing how people handle that. That's why when you see how you were able to do this thought exercise and I just jumped into it,
Which I
I was trying,
appreciated a lot. Thank you.
yeah, and I was trying to get you to do the same thing earlier. don't, don't
I
don't give
was
me a political answer.
the other ones
You
were a
gotta
little
jump
too
into the exercise. That was the exercise. I needed you to jump into it. Here's the premise. Let's play the game.
okay. I'll play next time.
That's no
Maybe.
problem. As a matter of fact, guys, it's 2:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's late. I had a wonderful couple of shows here today, and I appreciate all of the new people who came in and all of the old standbys. Thank you for Miss Tropical, and I would love for you to let me bring you on and do like a regular interview just to ask you about that thing we were talking about, race versus ethnicity. That would be fun.
You'll ruin my political career.
I will. No, you can answer it perfectly. I will allow you to be able to dance around it like a politician. I won't
And
force
while
you to.
Tommy's talking about jumping right in it, if you fly out, he will definitely jump right in it. Just if you want to. I'm just throwing it out there.
No,
Like
no, no.
people.
I do really like Toronto, I'll admit. I'm sorry. I think I'm staying here.
Yeah. You don't want to come to Atlanta. That's bad. But I would love to have that discussion though, because I think it would be a fun discussion to watch. I like to watch people try to explain the differences between these two, and me being the person who says, I don't think that. That's why when the other guy, I wish he hadn't left. I was having a fun time talking to him about it, and it seemed like it was like he couldn't explain it. And it's funny, he said, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean the one you went down? Like now that I'm sitting up here, got you right in it. Now you don't want to go down it after you went down it. A lot of people just aren't used to the pushback, and I think that is when I'm at my best. The most fun time is when I get an opportunity to push back. Like I showed the video earlier about the young lady who I did the interview with years ago that y'all asked me to find, and I found it. It didn't matter that she was fine as fuck. I started making that woman have to check herself on the things she was saying because I said, well, if that logically makes sense to you, then why did you do this? And I think most people aren't able to handle the third and fourth level of questioning. Surface level, typically with people, they can handle that. Follow-up questions usually get people caught. So I appreciate Night Star for being here, Tropical for being here, Alex, my man Corey, as always, and my man Relationship Rehab. Thank you for being able to come in here, brother. I'm sorry I started late. You muted.
No, that was an important topic earlier.
I
No,
said it's all good, brother. I had technical difficulties while I was waiting. I started updating shit and things went left. So
What'd you say, Corey?
no, I was saying whether it's starting late or not, that was an important topic that needed to be had. Um, I seen the comments that they were saying, and I feel that exactly the way you feel, that they will use that as a way to try and just keep on picking at you, and then say, "Be on my side," and that had to be addressed. And from now on, and we'll talk later on. But it's certain individuals, they started to show their real skin
Yes.
earlier, right? Started to show their real skin, and I said, "Look at it. You can't escape what you have always felt about a certain demographic. And now when that comes out, it shows exactly who that person is. You can only put on a facade for so long.
Well, think about it,
Unless
Corey.
Thank you.
People you hate. I tell people all the time when I'm dating an ugly woman, if that woman don't take out the trash or didn't clean a dish, I'm gonna cuss this ugly bitch out. If she,
No, you can't be mean like that.
but
That's
if a woman is
awful.
a 10, she can get away with a lot of things. She didn't shut the door. She spent too much money at the she can get away with a lot of things. What I mean by saying that is you can tell who like you and who don't by how easily they go to kill mode when something goes wrong. And those white guys did not go to we have a disagreement. They went to I've been wanting to call you niggas and monkeys all week. It was difficult for them to get along with you. Some people, it's hard for them to get along with you, to smile in your face. That ain't what they want to do. There's something they want to really tell you. I've been wanting to call you a fat bitch, you fat bitch. That's why it came out like this. I've been wanting to call you whatever it is. When your girl get mad at you and tell you that's why your dick little, you can't fuck and you ain't got no money. She been wanting to say that to you. This ain't new. She didn't
What did I
just
miss earlier?
That's why your house smelled like feet, ass, and sweaty balls.
right. They've been wanting to say this shit to you. They blame it
No,
on the tax.
Tommy, I think it was I was just trying to tell Tropical that there were all these white power simps under a post that Tommy made about the Reiner family, and they were talking about, oh, he's too low IQ to understand per capita, or no, that's not even real. Like, oh, just the simpiness for the white power, and just like making misnomer arguments. Like, what does that have to do with what Tommy posted? Like, how does that change what happened? But they want to go straight to low IQ nigger. Just so stupid.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and it
think
was
that's
like
just
that's
like
what
it's
you
it's
thought.
it's obviously a sort of ad hominem, because if you actually could argue your point, then you wouldn't be bringing up any of that.
Well, and if the beginning of it was they had been praising me saying, you're going after the Jews, you're one of the good ones, good guy, because I wasn't going after the Jews. I just brought up something that was a problem, in my opinion, of what I saw after being in Hollywood and noticing that a lot of people had the last name Steinberg and all this shit who made these movies. So I asked, how is it that they were allowed to do this? And then after making the movie, just like my daughter loves Stranger Things, I watched Stranger Things today, and I noticed the first time they had a black girl in there, she was a smart mouth and cussing and was a little girl. How did this girl get in, even in this town? How would she even survive in this town talking like that when no one else did? And then I looked at the end. Everybody who made this and wrote this wasn't black, had Bergstein or whatever. And I kept thinking, why would they write this for this little girl? Why is it that every little black girl got to be a smart mouth bitch? Why is that attractive to white people? Why do they like watching that? Why can't the little black girl be the nerd?
Yep,
Why
because her
can't she?
brother's total opposite.
Wait, she wasn't the nerd? I thought she. I
No,
haven't
she
seen
was
Stranger
the
Things,
nerd
so
like
this is where my
no, she
knowledge
was the
peters
nerd
out.
like
My
what's her
pop
name? The
culture
nerd
knowledge
in
is.
she was the nerd like what's her name in the Ironheart.
Yep,
Sassy nerd.
yep. And that goes all the way back to what's happening. Go back to what's happening. Look at D.
Yep. D. Sassy. Get everybody told. Why? Why is
I
that
would say that because once again, Hollywood was considered a very not a prestigious thing back in the day, entertainment especially, and you still see it now with the proliferation of abusing black people in entertainment. So it started out like there was a good portion of Jewish people that were in Hollywood and they got a head start. And I think that's
I get
why
it,
they
but I'm
might
asking why would
like
they portray blacks this way? Why do they need, if they're writing a script, why do they feel the need to portray them that way? It's just a simple question.
I think that because the thing is that there's multiple answers to this question, and I think the one that we want to go for is probably it wouldn't even be Occam's razor, because Occam's razor would just be like out of ignorance, right?
I just
It
want
would
to
be
know all
more.
of them. If there's plenty of them, Give me all of them. Give me all of the reasons why you would feel the need that blacks and whites and everybody else around the world will accept a smart ass cussing little girl when she's black.
I think. Sorry, I'm still sick. Ah.
They would never accept a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl doing this.
I
As a
feel like
matter
there
of
have
fact, the
definitely
little
been
blonde,
stereotypes of
blue-eyed
blonde-haired
girl
blood
in
girls being
Stranger
sassy
Things was,
nerds.
oh, she's so cute.
I don't
She
know
wasn't
if I
getting
agree with
told.
that
The girl
point
who said
exactly.
they're here, she wasn't getting nobody told.
Because I also remember the very docile nerd that is also the black girl with the glasses who gets bullied, but she's always the token. And then she has the best friend that's white. You know,
Where?
the proliferation of that.
Where?
In what?
Give me the
In like
show.
most cartoon TV shows.
What show?
You didn't name them.
Just
Daria.
name one.
Who?
Daria. It was on MTV. They actually brought a lot of good issues as it relates to it's a 90s TV show. It actually was tropical stuff when in doubt cough. I wish it was when it was in doubt. It was more of like when I'm trying to get a point out.
I've never heard of Daria, but I would definitely be
Really?
looking into that one. I've never heard of Daria. Was it? I guess it wasn't a hit. I don't know, but
I'm
But
looking
she
at
was
Daria.
constantly fighting against like this sort of stereotype because she was in a predominantly white town. She was essentially the token, but they made it a very like poignant note, especially in the 90s. And this predates
Whoa.
me being able to
Daria?
parse this, but
Daria, the main girl, was
Daria's
white.
the main girl, yes.
Yeah, this girl's name was her character was Jody Abigail, right?
I believe so.
Okay, Jody Abigail. Let me read about who she was. Jody Abigail.
They're actually going to make a spin-off show off of her.
Didn't happen, did it?
No.
Again, if you go all the way back to every show, you're naming this what might have been. I'm telling you what actually was.
No, she was a nerd. Sorry, I saw a comment that said she wasn't a nerd. She was top of her class, I believe.
Hold on. I'm pointing out to you. They've never just said she got to be a dumb bitch. They haven't done this. She was always smart. Every time they had the black girl, let me tell you something. The black girl in Family Matters wasn't a dummy. She was just a smart ass. The black girl in the Cosby Show, all of the dark skinned ones were smart asses. You go and look at hell, you look at Will Smith's show. When the mom was dark skinned, she was a smart ass. When she got light skinned, the same character became classy. Her dark skinned sister versus the light skinned sister was a nerd that was like whites.
I think these shows predate my my.
Will you talk about
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air predates you?
Yeah, how old are you?
It's impolite to ask a woman her age. No, I'm 27.
Oh no, you would know this.
No, you would know it's Fresh Prince.
My kid knows this. My kid knows Martin. She watches reruns of things. Hell, watching Stranger Things gave her an appreciation. Well, I'm gonna say I did. I gave her an appreciation for 80s music. But when she started watching Stranger Things, she said, "Dad, the music you listen to, it's in here." Because apparently they played just a bunch of 80s music. And so, but she was like, I knew all those songs and none of my friends knew them. But she said after they would hear them there, they fell in love with them. Even if you're at the age of 27, you have heard of these things. And
I know them. The only reason that I know Daria is because it was very into animation.
Yeah, because they said Fresh Prince and Daria in the same era. Yeah, they said that's 2000.
Are they?
Yeah.
If you said it was in the 90s, that's definitely
97.
Fresh Prince now. Yes.
97 was Daria.
I've never seen an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm sorry.
Well, but the point
I've also never seen an episode of like Friends
the black
or
girl
The
in
Office.
Every show is a smart ass. They literally have built a long-standing tradition. Is the black girl, especially if she's dark skinned. Like if they cast you in a show, you'd be the uppity, almost white. They would have you. You wouldn't go around going, "Girl, you never get that role." You don't see a light skinned girl going, "Girl." That's why they never put Halle Berry in a girl role. She never did it. As a matter of fact, if you go look at this movie called Coming to America, the light-skinned girl was not only sweet, but she was looking for a marriage and a good girl and didn't want somebody for money, but her dark-skinned sister was fucking everything that moved.
I don't know. This
It's
is
only
where
women.
my knowledge of pop culture peters out completely. I have friends that absolutely like dig into me for not having seen like Braveheart or Die Hard or things like that.
So that's why you have to listen. So when I'm telling you these things,
I will watch them and I will catch up
you're
on
not
the
supposed to
cultural
sit there and say,
zeitgeist.
no, that's
And
not true. So when I was asking a question, that should be something you should be your homework. Why is it that people who are not black are writing roles for people who are black and putting them in the same roles?
but you do remember that I'm Jewish, right? So it's just like it's like being pit against myself
No,
in a
you can
weird
ask that
way.
question yourself, can't you? Wait a minute. How can we grow as humans if we don't ask why something happens, even if it's something we're doing?
I mean, the thing is that I find it, and I mean this with no disrespect. I find it like a little bit. I find myself incredulous because I think the simplest answer, Occam's razor, would be pure ignorance. They've seen it done before, therefore they do it again, right? And if it's already a stereotype that's been perpetuated, they're not really questioning it. And probably not because they don't think to question it, you know?
Well, but
so I don't think it's anything specifically out of malice, and maybe this is me not trying to be misanthropic, but I think it might, the simplest answer might just be pure, like, ignorance and not in a malicious sense.
But now let me ask you something. Do you think Jewish people are known for their ignorance?
Thank you.
I think that's once again putting it on a monolith because
I'm just
You would
asking.
have
You
to
can
split
ask-
Are
the
they
point if
known?
it was
It's
the
like
other
saying,
way.
Wait a minute.
the same
She
dichotomy
said
could
that
be
a
said of like what
stereotype
people say
it
about
was
Asian
done,
people.
so let's keep
It
doing
could
it
be
for
said
black
about what people
people.
say about
But
Asian
now
people.
when
Are
I
Asian
ask her
people
what a
known for
stereotype
being
of her
like
own people,
ignorant
she
or
can't do it.
unintelligent? Are Asian
No.
people known for being
Jewish
ignorant or
people,
unintelligent?
are they known for their stupidity? What is their trope? Since you accepted the trope of the little black girl, you said they probably seen it done once, it worked, and they just
Well,
kept
I'm
doing
going
it.
off of
Not in
what you
malice.
have told me here. So I'm going off of your logic.
I know. So I'm saying you said they probably seen it done once. So you said
Mhm.
they were smart enough to understand there's no hatred here. It appears that it works. People are accepted it. We'll keep repeating it. Right?
And so I'm saying, if that is the case, if we're to substitute Jewish with Asian, are we assuming that Asians are also, we're going to do the
Yes.
whole race
Most
IQ
people do.
association,
Most
which I
people
don't personally
assume they're
believe
good
in.
at
Asians have
math.
the highest IQ. Yes.
Right. We assume they're good at math and they probably can do some karate. We
And do you
just
think that
assume.
in the same situation, they would not also probably accidentally perpetuate an ignorant stereotype?
No, but if what you were saying were true, then that means that they were ignorant to it and didn't know anything about it. Then that means everybody would play those roles because
No,
they're the
I'm
ones
saying
that
it's
control the. They are
perpetuating
the.
an ignorant
Nope.
stereotype because
Let me
is
finish.
this something
Wait.
that has been
Let me finish.
flagged?
Wait. Let me finish.
Okay,
If
sorry.
they're the ones that control the narrative, they're the ones that are in control of the stories. They're in control of the movies, in control of the budgets. They are in control of that. If they were ignorant to it, then everybody would be in every role. That's why you don't see Chinese heartthrobs.
You see Chinese heartthrobs?
No,
Who?
you do not in
What
American
was the
movie
last
land.
big?
I've
What
seen
was the
quite a
last
few
big
Chinese
movie?
heartthrobs.
Okay, name
What
the
was the
movie that a
last big
Chinese
movie
man led. Because as a matter
led?
of fact, Simo Lee talked about being proud to be the Asian who led the movie.
The first one.
The first one. They talked about how they can't get roles in Hollywood being the leading man in a rom-com. Name the Asian rom-com where the Asian guy's the lead. Name it.
I'll wait.
I mean, I want to say Crazy Rich Asians, but that was the first thing that came to mind because we were just saying Asian.
I said name the heartthrob in a rom-com.
Oh, I don't
Who's
watch
the
rom-coms.
Asian Ryan Gosling?
Yes. Who's the Asian who's the Asian Leonardo DiCaprio?
I don't know. I just think of K-pop idols.
That's the point. So you're in.
I don't know,
just,
Namjoon.
here's some
What
advice
am I
for you
supposed
in
to say
being a
here?
politician. In
There's
being a
usually
politician,
Hanyu.
Here's the advice for you for being a politician.
He's a great
Sometimes you just have
politician
to
already.
call a thing. No,
Right.
she's not. No, she's not. Sometimes you have to just call a thing. And
apparently I'm
sometimes you
doing
have
quite
to
well.
just call a thing and move on, as opposed to trying to disprove that thing, because then your credibility comes into play when you do that.
When you
No,
want to
because see,
acknowledge
once
what they're
again,
doing.
we didn't actually take it into the whole. Are we accusing a group of something that is more of
He
a
made no
cultural
accusation.
stereotype
There
issue?
was no
He made no
accusations made.
accusation.
We were
Here's the
just calling
problem.
a thing.
I tell y'all all the time, this is why I don't like talking to women. They will not do something as simple as just ask what's in front of them. They will turn around and try to make it be, well, what are you trying to say? Because they want to
All
see where you're
around the
going, so they don't have
Barbados.
to answer the question that was just given to them, which they could just answer that question and see where you're
Hold
going.
on, I don't like being a monolith for my sex.
I understand, but you are now acting out that stereotype, just like those Jewish people wrote for that little black girl that you said they didn't know
No,
what they
I'm
were
saying it's
doing.
Occam's razor that the simplest solution might just be pure
So why
unmalicious
would you give me
ignorance.
Occam's razor and just give you the simplest answer to the question I asked instead of trying to see where are you going with that?
No, I gave you the answer. Is that not the answer?
No. What you said was when you said y'all are trying to say this. We're not. We're
We're
asking out of curiosity. Why would this happen?
Yeah,
And
and I
mankind has
said
created this
Occam's razor.
microphone. Mankind has created this camera, these computers, because they had curiosity and asked, why does this happen? Not, are you trying to prove? No. I just want to know where this lightning came from. If there's a God that made it, cool. But if it's something else, why not ask the question?
Well,
All I asked
I gave you an
was-
answer. I don't know if it. I don't think you're like responding to it.
No.
Occam's razor,
Mhm.
indicating that the simplest solution, which would be the most boring here, of course, would be that maybe it was unmalicious ignorance of a
Why would
stereotype
that
that
be
you've
considered the
said
simplest solution?
exists.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Occam's razor is based upon physics.
It also
They
goes
would
into
be able to
multiple fields as
measure the
well.
amount what is simple.
It goes.
How
Yes.
is what you just stated the simpler solution? That
The
they're
simplest
ignorant. How is
solution
that
would
simple?
be
Simple could be they mean as
unmalicious.
hell. That's
Because
just as simple.
what benefit would there be?
Hold on, that's just as simple. That's why they make bad
Because you're not. I
characters.
gave you the answer to your question, and I feel like you don't like it.
No. I'm not arguing what you said. That's the simplest solution. You blamed it on something. The simplest solution could also be they're just mean as fuck. That
But
is a
why?
simple
What benefit? What benefit?
Hold on now. Okay, isn't it funny? She said I didn't accept her answer, but she won't accept mine. Now,
Right.
now you want deeper.
No, because I'm saying it's not
No,
simple
now
anymore.
you want deeper though.
I'm
I
saying it's
just
not
asked
simple
you for deeper.
anymore. Because
You
it
want
went
deeper
from
Why can't
me.
he be a
here is
politician
just pure
and not
answer.
go deeper?
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh my God,
Until
y'all see this?
they're just
She's able
mean.
to say it's just not maliceful. It's just ignorance. Now, if I tried to go and ask more, what did she say? Seems like you're not accepting my answer. I said, no, cool. I said, here's another thing that's simple. They could just hate these people. Well, why?
Because it does
You
strike the
want why,
question,
but didn't
why
want
do
to
they
give
hate
me
them?
why. Right, thank you. Somebody even wrote it. Selective elaboration. You did not want to elaborate on your simple solution.
I did elaborate on my simple solution.
Well, you said it could just be ignorance. And the more I asked you questions, you said, seems like you're not accepting my answer of it just could not be maliceful at all. Could be just ignorance. Then you use Occam's razor to say of why that was the simplest solution.
Yes.
What I told you was 100% fact. That does not fit Occam's razor because simple solution could have easily been hate. That is just as simple as ignorant.
But
why won't you even admit hate and ignorance are just the same simple?
No, that would be semantic difference there that I would completely disagree with.
How is it that you can have it this way when it's coming from you, but from his perspective, when it's the same exact premise, you're saying no, you're just totally
well, it's because all I said was, wait, what is the extra step needed for mean?
You're saying
why does there need to be one?
One of them is simple.
Where is it coming from?
You're saying the one of I'm just completely ignorant of that which I am currently doing and have been doing for years, which would be very difficult to believe, which is what Brian was trying to tell you. Even if you were ignorant when you first did it, after the dozens of generations you've done it, you know what you're doing now.
Generations, meaning
10 years. New generation, new kids watching this thing. That's why they turn around and give you the Lion King again. That's why they give it to you in 10 years, because the ones who were parents, the ones who were kids watching it are now parents and they have kids. So it's easy to redo it. You repackage it. And you've been doing this since Hollywood started. You are not dumb. Nobody who became billionaires doing a business is a dummy. No one.
the thing is that I find it really difficult
and doesn't know what
to.
that product does.
I
Name
Why
I
do you
find
find
it
it? Why
very
do you find
the
it difficult?
logic doesn't follow that. It's like, oh, let's just be malicious to be malicious.
But wait,
Like-
why do you find it difficult to afford Jews to be able to be naive when there are billions of dollars at stake, hundreds of millions of dollars at stake? Why are you allowing them to be? Wait,
hold on.
Why are you allowing
I think
them
we're missing
to
a
be
very
where they
specific
just
point
don't
that I'm bringing
know
up
when
here,
they're in total
which is the
control
kind
of
of
their
like the
business and the
linchpin,
resources?
you know? So looking at this linchpin, right? The extra step of this is intentionally malicious. Why? What is that? Where is it coming? Where is this hate coming from?
I can answer that. See, there would be a reason of why, if you have and you believe in the Goy, people who are either humans, you, and the Goy, the non-humans, non-Jewish. If you believe this, and you believe, like several other Jewish scholars have openly admitted, then you need these people to be of your servant. And they understood that one of the easiest things to do, which is where they controlled, which is, you said, Hollywood, one of the things you call each of the shows is called programming. Everybody understands that what happens is many people watch these things and believe these things, which is why the president of the United States had a movie which was produced by Jewish people called Birth of a Nation. He said it was so moving what he saw. These white men dressed up as black men, rummaging throughout the South, raping and pillaging white women, to where the Sons of Confederacy had to come and stop them from doing it. This became the thing that made people believe blacks were running rampant in the South in the United States, raping white women. It was completely false, yet everyone believed it. Another group of people who it happened to.
I would like to look more into that claim because I don't know much about it. Therefore, I would be ignorant to speak on that topic.
Things to you. See, if you ask a question, if I ask you what's going on in Canada and you start telling me, I would just listen and look it up. And
Yeah,
that's what
I'm saying. I'm gonna look it up.
No, I'm saying, but I was telling you more. While I would assume you were looking it up because I thought I was giving you information. I'm like a teacher. So when you tell a teacher in the middle of the teacher or the professor telling you, I'll look it up, the professor kind of thought you were doing it. That's why they were giving you things to look up. So I'm trying to give you things that are true so you don't have to argue with me and say, well, why? I'm giving you the why.
So you're saying that because the term goy exists, and I'm sorry, this one really it's not comfortable to say.
Well, then you could have let me keep finishing, because you could have let me keep talking, because I wasn't uncomfortable with what I was saying. You stopped me to tell me what's uncomfortable for you to say, but I was saying something that was very comfortable that you could have then wrote it down or rewind it and then go look it up, because it's uncomfortable for you to say. You start what somebody wrote right there. See, the class was in session. And there's always somebody in class that is trying to interrupt the class. See,
well, I mean, I feel like I'm a bit outnumbered at this point.
Let me finish. If I was wrong 100%, she'd let me finish because it make me look foolish. But I'm answering the question she asked and then got cut off as I'm answering it. Now, why wouldn't I be allowed to answer this question? Because remember, I'm not bothered by it. I have an answer.
I will say I'm bothered by it just because I think it implicates a lot of people for a lot of things that are once again relating to a monolith that is once again just you're relating a malicious stereotype that is
What was malicious
perpetuated
about what I
in the
just said?
same manner in which it is perpetuated
Wait
upon
a minute.
you by
What was
other groups.
malicious what I
And
said?
it's just inter-minority fighting.
What was malicious about what I said? Because I don't like being lied on or accused of.
It's malicious to say that these sort of let's say draws of conclusions as it relates to, assumptions of what goy means and subservience as it relates to Jewish culture.
He wasn't assuming. He was just telling you what they believe.
They
I don't understand. Wait a minute. But she could look this up. Why would someone just tell y'all a fucking lie to your face and say that I assumed? Look
No,
it up
I'm saying
yourself.
that I'm Jewish.
No,
I know
I'm not
what
going
this
to say anything
means.
else now when you just accuse me of lying or possibly misleading people. Before I say another word,
Whoa, whoa,
everybody go
whoa,
look
whoa,
up what goy
whoa.
means. Everyone look up what it means so we can all be on the same page. So it can't be
It just means
assumed or
non-Jew.
said that I'm lying.
It just means non-Jew, not non-human.
Hold on. It means a non-Jew. Why would
Yes. Thank
someone who
you.
is okay? Why would someone who is something refer to everyone else? You talked about this earlier. Why would they make a distinction between themselves and others?
Because it's the same manner in which you were talking about what is black and what is not black.
No. I said, why would they make it? We didn't call them goy. We didn't have. I said they made that themselves. That's their word. We didn't call ourselves niggers. We were called that. Why did they call them? They came up with a word to describe themselves versus other people.
I
Why would
mean,
they
do we
do
not have
this?
slurs for other races as well?
Oh, so you're calling goy a slur?
No, I'm saying because you
Then why
said
did you bring it up?
the N-word, so
I said there's a difference between what you call yourself and others versus what others call you. Because you said, yeah, well, we came up with this word. And I said, well, why did they need to separate themselves from others? That was a simple question.
yeah, and I'm saying as a black person also, there are other words that we use to describe other races.
So I'd simply ask, why did they need to separate themselves from others? Why would you say y'all do it too?
I'm
asking, why
relating to
would
both
they
sides of
need
the
a
argument here.
word
I am
to
both
describe
things.
everyone else in the world versus themselves?
It's just a categorization that, like, it's like Aristotelian Boolean, like, categorization. It's just you are the thing or you are not the thing.
It says it's widely used and is known as a derogatory, condescending, or pejorative. This is the word, the definition. So she'll find a way to get out of that too. And what y'all understand, what y'all need to understand is people who are willing to talk like this, because I didn't do it. When she wanted a thought exercise of her crap, nobody sat there and tried to get out of it. And even when she thought they did, she said, y'all are just not trying to see the other thing. I'm like, no, we actually
Whoa, we're
are.
painting this whole narrative here when
No,
I do
now
not
I'm
agree
having a
with this in
regular
the slightest, but
conversation
we're
with
having
you,
quite a good
and you just
conversation.
tried to make what I do and say as it was negative because I'm asking a question about a word that is used as a pejorative towards others. I didn't make the word negative. The people who made the word made it that way.
I mean, honestly, I've had my Jewish friends call me that, and we're both Jewish, so it's funny. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm going to bed. I'm not going to say. And you're right. I thank all of y'all for coming. This is a wonderful show. I've been here all night. Let me tell y'all something. I am not going to let nobody sit here and play me like I'm stupid. I had my friends call me that. That's your fucking friends. I've called a girl I'm dating a bitch. That don't mean if I call a woman in the street a bitch, she ain't going to be offended. That is ignorant. Why would you not acknowledge, yes, it's a fucked up word. We use it, but it's fucked up. That is a liar when you do it. Yeah, she was playing childish games at that point. And just, like, who does that? If I slapped a woman, I slapped that woman, that is wrong. I'm sorry. You know what? My bad. But I'm not going to pretend I didn't slap that woman or pretend, well, there's some cultures where, slapping is like, what the fuck? She tried to tell me, oh, it just means non-Jew. And then I read the rest of it, which literally states it's a derogatory, condescending, and pejorative word used against non-Jews. Well, blacks call people things, don't they? What the fuck? First, you told me I am categorizing them in a negative light, and that's not true. But I'm not. It's what the word means. It doesn't make sense. You're going to ask me, you said, why do I think they would do this? You know what that's causing me to do? Have a thought game. Like the one she played earlier. Not a real life exercise, just a thought exercise. Why do you believe this might happen? Do you know all I did was tell her why I believe this might happen? I didn't say anything mean. She asked me the question. She said, why do you think they would do this? She also said, Occam's razor says the easiest thing would be that they were ignorant. Do y'all understand that that's far from the easiest thing? Anybody that's ever read comics know what's the easiest character to write? The evil character. Why? Because you can make him a one-dimensional character. He's just evil. That's why a lot of people look at the evil character like, come on, give him some depth. If he's just evil to be evil, there's no depth in him. The bad guy is always evil. In the movies, isn't it always easy to make the bad guy in the movie? The bad guy's the easiest guy to draw. He's the easiest guy to write. So if we were going to go with Occam's razor, the fucking villain, the bad guy, the bad Jew, that would be the easiest thought, that the Jew's just evil. You don't have to give them motivation. They're just evil. That would be Occam's razor. No, she didn't understand it when I was telling her that. It was a simple of, dear, please understand. Yes, I could say it was their ignorance, but it was also just as easy and probably easier to say they're just mean. Because if you tell me they're ignorant over $1 billion industry? Who believes somebody would be ignorant over $1 billion industry? Thank you. Michael Myers, one of the scariest villains because he was nothing but evil. No words, no expression, just walking and killing. Literally, do you understand when they wrote Michael Myers, he was called The Shape? That was his character. He didn't have a name. He didn't have a name. They wrote an entire movie off of a guy called The Shape. The guy who played him was more than one guy. He didn't have any acting chops. They just told him to walk. That's Occam's razor, dear. But instead of trying to be an a-hole and just be a contrarian, why not have a real conversation? If someone says something that's true, why not say, okay, I see that. Somebody tell me I'm lying. If you're having a fair conversation with someone and you ask them a question and they answer it, I can see if you say, well, that doesn't make sense, or logically it doesn't make sense. Cool. But if they say something that makes sense, why would you keep on not acknowledging it? But you want people to acknowledge what you say. Y'all notice the whites were doing the same thing. See, the whites wanted it to be their right when they speak, you should listen to them and acknowledge that they have a point, but they would never acknowledge that you have a point, no matter what point you made. All she had to do was at some point say, well, Occam's razor, if I'm going to say being ignorant over $1 billion industry sounds smart. And there's no way in hell, ladies and gentlemen, that someone who owns $1 billion industry would be ignorant of what they put in front of the camera. Let me tell y'all something else. Do y'all know in movie making, they do like shoots and do audience surveys and then reshoots? How many of y'all knew this? They will do a movie. First off, in a movie, said her white side took over. In a movie, here's what they do. They have these things called dailies. Maybe she doesn't know this either. Maybe her Jewish family didn't tell her about this. They have these things called dailies. You know what dailies are? Dailies are when they shoot, because I've shot a couple of movies myself. What they do is they take, at the end of the day, they take a look at what they've shot that day and try to get an understanding of where it's going, how it looks, how the actor is currently doing, so it can kind of define and shape where we're going to go next. So they don't shoot a movie and not know what the fuck they shot. They know what the fuck they shot as they shoot it. Then they go and do a test audience, which is why when you guys go and watch the movie Little Shop of Horrors, do you know that the actual play of Little Shop of Horrors, everyone dies? Do you know why the movie doesn't have everyone dying? Because people were very sad at the end because they did not like the way it ended. The people who watched the movie said, that's a fucked up ending. And nobody liked the ending. So they changed it because the people said the ending should be happy. They felt like Seymour and Audrey should get together and be married. So they changed it from the original stage play format. No, yeah, she used to not being challenged. She got some nice tits and a beautiful face. She's a beautiful girl. Fucking gorgeous. But it's very difficult for a nigga with common sense to have a discussion with that person. Because what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and shake your head and go, she's not used to know. What man has a real conversation with that girl? She's 27 years old, so she still got her youth. What man has a real conversation with her? Name one. Do you know the only time you have a conversation with her is after you've had sex and she got on your nerves? The guy who breaks up with her, he's the only guy that's ever said the truth. The guy who was tired, he's had it, he's sleeping, he's cheating, he's said the truth. No other guy has said it. And most women go through life never really hearing or being challenged. Because why would I challenge somebody I'm trying to sleep with? That is the dumbest thing to do. Why would I be on the first date and you say something stupid and I challenge it? Why would I do that? It's not normal. And the women then start to think that they're intelligent because no one challenges them. They're easily shutting conversations down the way she was doing it. And I said, I'm not going to do this. Not tonight. It's too early in the morning or late at night, however you look at it. But why would I talk to someone who will not acknowledge anything I'm saying? Who then tries to turn me into a bad guy by saying that I'm villainizing Jews? How did I do that? I just pointed out when you asked me a question, you said, why do I think they would do these things that I just said they do? So I thought we would be able to have a conversation. I'll tell you why I think that, and then you tell me why I'm wrong. I was waiting on her to let me list the reasons why I think that, because she asked. And then afterwards she could say, well, that doesn't make sense because blah, blah, blah. But instead she cut me off and told me, you're being mean to a group of people. I'm like, wait, what? What intellectual conversation have you ever heard of that goes, you're disparaging people? An intellectual one. When does disparaging come into intellect? It doesn't. If you ask this person, why do you have a problem with fat people? Well, I think it's because they're greedy and because it shows that we can see it with their body. Like, oh, you can't say greedy. Well, wait a minute, but you asked. In the process of having these discussions, ladies and gentlemen, leftists make conversations very difficult because now I'm insulting people if I say there's only two sexes. You can't be insulting your people. What? I don't understand. I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm just trying to state my position. And it would never be a problem if you weren't that which I speak of. If you weren't a deadbeat dad, you'd not have a problem with a discussion about deadbeat dads. Imagine me standing up and doing like she did and say, well, hold on a minute. I'm not going to let you put down all deadbeat dads because I'm one. What? Imagine. Oh, you can't talk like that. Like what? State what the guy said? Yeah, but that's not all. Well, I never said it was all. I'm trying to answer your question of why the people in Hollywood who are Jews who run Hollywood might be influenced by their doctrine. Now, somebody tell me if I'm wrong for saying this. The fact that she couldn't get this is insane. They might be influenced by their doctrine that says not only are they superior to people who are not them, but they can use those people. Their doctrine says this. Now, are they doing it? That is up to discussion. But me saying after being asked, why do you think this would happen? Because I don't think anybody that runs a billion-dollar industry is too stupid to know what works and what doesn't. That's like saying the people who own Uber have no idea what times get the most cars, what cars get the most stars, what drivers, like that's just like saying that they have no idea. They just don't know. They've done no customer service feedback. None. It's accidental. It's not accidental that you put a black girl to be a loudmouth and then you saw it worked, so you just kept doing it. Name an industry of professionals that's ever done that. Name them. Name any industry that's been on this planet where they accidentally ran into something and just kept doing it. We fill out surveys all the time, do we not? Because they want to know, why'd you buy it? Where'd you buy it? Would you buy another? And I told you guys about what they do with movies. At the end of the movie, they then turn around and let you fill out a survey. What did you like? Why did you like it? What did you hate? Why did you hate it? So they knew exactly what they were doing, because if it wasn't working, they would stop. If white people at the end of the movie were saying, I don't like that black girl. If black people at the end of the movies were said, I don't like that black girl, guess what would happen the next time they did a movie? Black girl wouldn't be in it. Why? Because they've done the research and it's their job to maximize profits. That's why there's a board. On all of these large companies, there's a board. And guess who the ownership, the CEO, all of these people, guess who they are beholden to? The board. And the board charges them to maximize their profits. So for her to say, oh, they're just ignorant. Well, why won't they design their own people, put their own people in those roles? Wouldn't it make sense that they would put some of their own people in those roles? Somebody tell me I'm lying. Surely you'd put some of your own people in those roles. Wouldn't you want to give your own guy a job, a Jewish guy a job, a Jewish little girl a job? And surely that's a job. You just want to give that job to a black woman because you got lucky and did it once and it worked? That's what happened. In an industry where they used to only have black people being buffoons. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me if I'm lying. This is an industry that came up with blacks being buffoons. She's now telling me they have no idea. They didn't put black men as leading characters. They never put black men in love stories. Music wouldn't even put black men faces on the cover of their own music. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Tell them I made any lie about anything I said. For a person to tell me they were ignorant. Wait a minute. How were they ignorant and they purposely took black men and would not put them on the cover of their own albums? Because they said whites wouldn't buy it. They knew this. I don't understand how somebody's going to tell that lie. They had no black leading man that was up there making love to a white woman in a movie. Why? Why? They didn't. You didn't see it in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Even Wesley Snipes talked about how, and this was the 90s, how, you remember? MTV wouldn't show black artists. The first black artist to make it on MTV was Michael Jackson. How many of y'all knew that? The first black artist to make it on MTV was Michael Jackson. First. Google it. Look it up. They would not show a nigga on TV in the 80s. In the 80s. I was born in 75, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a 50-year-old man. I actually grew up seeing this. And to have a person now tell me, oh, it was an accident. Accident? Really? They didn't mean it? That is the stupidest shit a human being would say. That this big-ass business, there was an accident. They didn't do it. Well, by that logic, why ain't it been no damn midget leading men? Why you ain't been able to see a rom-com where a bitch fell in love with a midget? Since they don't do any market research, because Jews don't do market research. They just accidentally fall up on shit. How is it that Jews were able to make up that big of a percentage of millionaires, but they accidentally fall up on shit? They don't do no market research at all. They just accidentally fall into it. Let me tell y'all something. I've been friends with a lot of Jews, and I've put a lot of credit of a lot of things that I've gotten from some Jews. And one of the things that a Jewish person told me, one of the best lawyers in the United States, he said, well, I believe that one of the reasons that we're good at being lawyers is this. He said, when you're a Jew, you're always taught to not only read the Torah, but to understand it and challenge it. So having discussions and arguing the points and the merits is something that's a part of our religion. The law just becomes easy for us because we argue the points of the Torah all the time. And I never thought about that. I said, well, that makes sense. Like, if you grow up in a household, like if you grew up in a household with a bunch of athletes, isn't it easier for you to be athletic? Because you grew up in a household with athletes. So I don't knock Jews. As a matter of fact, I'd say black people need to be more like Jews. I've been saying this. They value education. Look over in Israel. Everybody got to serve. Motherfucker, you can't live over here if you don't serve. That makes sense to me. That's smart to me. But to have someone sit here and lie to your face, a 27-year-old who does not even know this stuff, continue to cut me off as I'm telling her stuff. Telling you the stuff you don't know. I don't want to hear it. I'll just cut you off. I'll just say things. I'll cut you off. I'll say things. But hold on a minute. If you didn't know this, you should take this as a place and time to learn. But you didn't. You took it as a place and time to obfuscate. You look that one up. That's what you took it as a time to do. You wanted to subvert the discussion. That hurts my feelings because then the conversation gets disingenuous. So I have to sit here, smile and nod as you talk and go on for 30, 40 fucking minutes, and I just let you go. But when I talk, you won't do the same thing? You won't give me the same favor? How is it that the host of a show will allow you to ramble as long as you want? But when you ask the host a question and he tries to answer it, you cut him off because it seemed like I'm getting way too close to something. What am I getting too close to? That is why you have a lot of people, lady, who start to get mad at the so-called Jews. because y'all can sit here and preach to us, but can't be preached to. Y'all can educate us, but can't be educated. Y'all can teach us, but aren't willing to learn. And I have a friend, and I'm going to leave it at this. I had a friend who was a Jehovah's Witness. And he asked me to go to Kingdom Hall with him once. And you know what I said? Being a Catholic? Sure. So I went with him. Had a good time. I asked him to come to Mass with me. You know what he told me? He said no. I said, why not? He said his religion says you can't step in other people's church. And I thought, wait a minute. What? Hold on. I went to learn about you, your culture, your religion, so I can know more about you. You now tell me, fuck you? You told me you don't want to know that side of me, but I need to know that side of you? I thought, wow. But then I realized, have you noticed, that's how they hold conversations. She wanted me to hear everything she had to say. Make Jews out to be a victim. Misunderstood. But when I say, well, let me tell you the other side, well, I don't want to hear that. And then paint me as a bad guy. You're trying to make a whole group of people look evil. When did I do that? What did I say that made a whole group of people look evil? Read the definition of a word? And you see how she gave that laugh after I then read the entire definition? She knew it. She knew that is the definition. That's why when I say, she said, because you knew what it meant. And so instead of saying, you got a point, she then said, y'all call each other things. Y'all call other people things. What's the problem? I didn't say it was a problem. I'm just stating facts. How do you solve any problem if you do not state the facts of what you're dealing with? Imagine a plumber coming and not being able to tell you exactly what he saw. Imagine me saying to the plumber when he told me exactly what he saw, so what you're saying, I'm nasty? You're putting me down? You think I'm nasty? No, I'm just saying that it's rot in the floor. Oh, so you saying I don't take care of my house? No, I'm just saying the floor is rot. Oh, you trying to put down me and my family like we don't know how to take care of things. Sir, I'm just saying it's rot here, you jackass. You want me to not say this? You want me to close my eyes so I cannot see? You think I'm going to not see this? Good night, y'all. Good night. You think I'm going to not see this? How can I not see that?